3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
Live from the place you're not overly ostentatious studios of the Infinity Sports Network here in beautiful New York City, sitting on top of the 10th floor of 345 Hudson Street. Welcome on into it is a Wednesday edition of the Zach Gelb Show across all the great local Infinity Sports Network affiliates, Sirius XM, Channel 158, the free Odyssey app, and of course, streaming live on YouTube. 855-212-4227 is the number to jump on in. 855-212-4227. You could always get at me on Instagram, where I'm straight flexing, or via the good old cesspool of Twitter X at Zach Gelb. That's ZACHGELB. I got Nico, I got Stuart Kovacs, I got Moist Mike with me, and we are rocking and rolling all the way up until 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Let me just start right out of the gate saying I do not believe in Daniel Jones. I think this is Daniel Jones's final season as the quarterback of the New York Giants. And quite frankly, I don't think this regime and Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll believe in Daniel Jones either. You got to remember, they did not draft Daniel Jones. That was a Dave Gettleman, Mr. Hogmolly pick. So Dave Gettleman selected Daniel Jones. We all know, not to rehash everything, it was controversial because no one thought he was going to be the sixth pick in the draft, but the Giants fell in love with the quarterback, and you don't trade back when you fall in love with the quarterback because you could run the risk of losing that quarterback, and then if that quarterback goes on to be good or great, you end up looking like a fool. But you got to remember when Joe Schoen got there to New York, that they did decline the fifth-year option of Daniel Jones. And I've talked to Joe Schoen numerous times before. I've had Joe Schoen on this network quite a few times. And I've said this to him, it's tough for me to believe with what you guys say about Daniel Jones that you love him and you believe in him when the action was there originally where you declined the fifth-year option. And then you got to remember after declining that fifth-year option, Daniel Jones, with not a lot around him, had a good season. And that was the first year of the Daboll-Schoen regime, and the Giants somehow made the playoffs. And not only made the playoffs, Daniel Jones, and maybe it was more indicative of how bad the Vikings defense was, but Daniel Jones had a great game up against the Minnesota Vikings, and then they got into the second rounds of the playoffs. They won that game in the wild card round, and they lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. But that was an absolutely positively successful, more than successful, year one for Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen in New York. But since they declined that fifth-year option and you weren't going to franchise tag him, they gave him a 4-year contract, which is well documented, $160 million. But the way that it was designed, even though it is a 4-year deal, it's very easy to get out of that contract after 2 seasons. So last year, whether it was multiple injuries, which ultimately ended up with Daniel Jones tearing his ACL, Daniel Jones barely played. And Daniel Jones is now viewed as someone that's even though he has 2 years left of his contract technically, but a lame duck quarterback. And I don't think Daniel Jones has ever been a very good quarterback in this league. I don't think Daniel Jones is the guy in New York. But what the Giants did this offseason, and the reason why we're talking about this today is because of Hard Knocks. They're doing an offseason Hard Knocks. And I actually tuned in last night for 2 reasons. One, I'm hosted on The Fan on Friday, so I had to kind of figure out, okay, what is being said in the Giants world and what's the takeaways from Hard Knocks, and I need to be plugged into that. But really, number 2, I thought it was compelling TV. I thought it was interesting because it's all the offseason decisions that have played out. And I know the Giants have the end-all, be-all in terms of control, and they have the last say in terms of what actually gets displayed. But they show you, and it's a few episodes, so you haven't seen everything, but they've showed you the conversations about Daniel Jones. They showed you the conversations about Saquon Barkley. We'll see how much further they dive into it, right? The trade that did go down with Brian Burns. So, it is fun to watch. But also, even though I haven't been the biggest Hard Knocks fan the last few years, I tuned in last night because, I'm missing football. The NBA season's over. NHL is over. We don't do a ton of baseball nationally. I am a baseball fan. But I can't freak out day in and day out and live and die with the baseball team game by game as if they're a football team. There's just too many games with baseball being 162. But when it comes to Hard Knocks, that kind of sets the stage that the football season is almost here. And I'm not a preseason fan. I don't care about training camp nonsense. But I'm ready, even though I love summer. And we're all going to have a great, hopefully, 4th of July weekend. And I love Labor Day weekend and all that stuff. And I love going to the beach and, getting a lot of vacation in the summer as well. But I'm ready for football season to start. I'm ready to have college football games. I'm ready to have the NFL back. And that last night kind of shows you, even when they lower the piñata a little bit, and maybe it's a cheap piñata, maybe it doesn't have the best candy in the world, you still want some of the candy. And we all want the NFL. And that was like a little taste that got the palate wet a little bit in terms of giving you a little NFL flavor. But really, what comes out of last night's episode with the Giants and Hard Knocks is two things. It's clear Joe Schoen wasn't willing to break the bank for Saquon Barkley and didn't prioritize Saquon Barkley, no crap. But the Giants now have to put on this front as if Daniel Jones is their guy. And I think we all know they have to do that, but we do know that he's not really their guy. Not only because they didn't pick up the fifth-year option, because you can say, oh, Zach, they did give him $160 million after that. But I'm fascinated to see how it's covered because Ian Rappaport has this reported. This is not some Joe Schmo. This is not some pretend reporter. Like, this is one of the best reporters in the business covering the NFL. It's Ian Rappaport who has it well documented that the Giants tried to trade up in the draft to go get a quarterback. And there was like a clip last night, and it was clearly edited. But they were talking about Daniel Jones, and they also then said in a very vague way, we got to protect ourselves. And then the clip stopped. And when I heard that, I'm like, protect yourselves. Are you talking about him? Are you talking about the team? Or are you talking about yourself? Because if you're a GM, and I think Joe Schoen knows down deep, even though he's trying to give Daniel Jones a chance, that Daniel Jones isn't going to work. How do you protect yourself? How do you buy time in a sport that does not have a lot of patience and a fan base that is impatient? Well, you got to give someone some hope. You got to give someone a little piece of something that they could chew on and still not totally say, oh, we don't believe in you anymore. And if they could have drafted a quarterback in the first 5 picks, I know they were picking at 6, but if they could have moved up and get their guy, which they didn't have to, that gives the fan base a little hope and probably buys you another year. But when I look at Daniel Jones, like, don't get me wrong, he is barely treading water right now. Like, he is treading water, he's going under, he's coming back up, and he's like, oh, I'm still breathing. That's what Daniel Jones is doing right now. They are throwing him some life rafts, though. They're getting close to him. He has not grabbed onto it, and he has not been taken to shore yet. But Daniel Jones, they did beef up that offensive line for him. God knows it couldn't be worse than the offensive line that they put out on the field last year, the Giants. And they did draft him a playmaker in Malik Neighbors, who I don't know if Malik Neighbors is going to win Rookie of the Year, but he is going to be exciting, and he's going to be a very good wide receiver in this league. So they have given Daniel Jones enough to be able to show that he can now swim and swim to shore. But you got to remember with Daniel Jones, even though he has shown some flashes of being solid, and a lot of his tenure has been synonymous with the Giants not putting him in a position to succeed, but eventually you got to display enough tangible moments for me. And outside of one season, unfortunately, Daniel Jones has had a lot of bad moments, and he's had a lot of injuries. And in a world where you're looking to find that guy, right, that franchise quarterback, I don't think Daniel Jones is going to be one. So a lot of the conversation today, a lot of the conversation that will ensue off of all these episodes that come out will be the Giants trying to say that Daniel Jones is getting one more shot. We're putting him in a position to succeed. Joe Schoen could put on the front like he does believe in Daniel Jones, but you know he actually doesn't. It's kind of like you're in a relationship, right? You've been with someone for a few years. You know it's not going to work. You find them like somewhat attractive, but it wasn't as attractive as you found them out to be a few years ago. And you sit down for dinner, and you know who you're at dinner with. But then you see other people walking by, and your eyes are wandering, and you're like, oh, I could see myself with that girl. I could see myself with that girl. Your focus isn't on the person there, but you're physically there in front of that person going through the meal. Like, that's where the Giants are at with Daniel Jones. They know they have a guy. They know they have a quarterback, but they don't have the quarterback. And it's kind of wild how long we have been at this with Daniel Jones at the Giants. And the craziest part is, and this is the biggest irony, is if they would have just picked up the fifth-year option, we never get to this mess. Because if they picked up the fifth-year option, last year would have been the fifth-year option year for Daniel Jones. So then they would not have given him, in all likelihood, I would think, that big contract. And then he probably wouldn't be on the roster this year because of the injury and some of the poor play that he has displayed. Because if they would have just picked up the fifth-year option, which I get why they didn't, and I understand a lot of this is now revisionist history, but if they would have just picked up that fifth-year option, last year was it for Daniel Jones. And they probably don't give him that crazy contract extension. They say play out the fifth year. But that year in 2022, where he did very good rushing the ball, he was fine throwing the ball, only had 15 passing touchdowns, but completed 67% of the passes and had no one at wide receiver. Remember Isaiah Hodgins came over from the Bills and he ended up being their number one wide receiver. So he was solid that year. I'm not taking anything away from Daniel Jones, but you can't just be solid in this league. We have conversations about Dak and Kirk and Tua, who are good. And we criticize them because they're just good, not great. I can't call Daniel Jones more times than not a good quarterback because more times than not, he's a bad quarterback. And he's also a quarterback now that has a litany of injuries. But it's just wild that he had that 2022 season and he was able to cash it in. And now the Giants know, yeah, this guy was probably going through his final year, but you have to at least sell it. So here is Joe Schoen last night making it clear, this is on HBO Hard Knocks when they were filming at one point during the offseason, that the Giants need to protect Daniel Jones.
We're going to draft well. We're going to sign good guys.
Yep.
We got to go play. The reality is, facts.
Yeah.
3 serious injuries in 2 years.
Yeah.
We need to protect ourselves. He didn't have much of a chance this year. That's legit.
Yeah.
Your off-season, the 4 guys, your core guys that were going to play together played less than 60 snaps together.
Yep.
We got Miami, we got 3 practice squad guys playing for us.
Yeah.
Nobody could, you could have Pat Mahomes and he can't win it behind that.
Well,
I'm not giving up. He's under contract for 3 more years. Just protecting ourselves because best predictor of the future is the past.
That was the line. Just protecting ourselves. And I know he gave a past and future quote after that. But when he said just protecting ourselves, that makes me think, and it lines up with what the Giants did, he's talking about going and getting someone in the draft. And they tried to do so in the first round, moving up from 6, but they weren't able to do so. I know I use the analogy of sitting at the table with someone and not really being interested. The Giants just trying to sell us on Daniel Jones right now, it's almost as if, everyone knows, the girl you're dating isn't the right girl for you. And your friends are just, trying to tell you that. But then you keep on saying, oh, but there was, this moment and that moment, and you're ignoring, the 7 or 8 moments that are really bad and you can't get over. There are excuses to give Daniel Jones. I'm not saying it's totally all on him why he's horrible. There are many excuses you could give Daniel Jones. But the reality is, do you think he's a franchise quarterback? And I want to know anyone that seriously thinks he's a franchise quarterback, and I want to talk to you. Because I just don't see it. And also, you got to remember, now coming off an ACL injury, one of his strengths is mobility and running the football. How mobile is he going to be coming off this ACL injury? So I think this is lining up, or I know this is lining up for this to be the final season of Daniel Jones in a Giants uniform. And then the question becomes, do you clean house after that? Is Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll both back after this? And I think they should be patient. I think they should keep them. But if Bill Belichick wants in, who knows what happens? But then, Bill Belichick didn't do a good job developing a young quarterback in Mac Jones. And that's a big reason why he's out on the street right now. So I do think it would be right for the Giants to keep Schoen and keep Daboll, but they can't keep on punting this decision and going to get their guy, and they have to go get their guy next offseason because Daniel Jones just ain't that dude. It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We will take a timeout. When we come on back, I want to hear from Stu, and I want to hear from Samter. It's clear I don't believe in Daniel Jones. Who's a quarterback entering this season that you don't believe in? I'll get Stu and Samter's answer on the other side. Also, LeBron. La drama out in La La Land of L.A. I will get into more of LeBron James and why he has zero chance to win another championship again in the association when we return after these short messages.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the Infinity Sports Network.
So it's clear I do not believe in Daniel Jones entering this season, and I think this will be Daniel Jones's final season as the quarterback of the Giants. It is the Zach Gelb Show. I will get Stu and also Samter's answer on which quarterback they don't believe in entering this season. But I have another question as well. I want to play this audio one more time, and then I will give you the question, and I will put Stu and Samter on the spot right after that. Here is Joe Shane on HBO Hard Knocks last night, offseason Hard Knocks with the Giants. And this is Joe Shane saying they need to protect Daniel Jones.
We're going to draft well. We're going to sign good guys. Yep. We got to go play. The reality is, facts. Yeah. 3 serious injuries in 2 years. Yeah. We need to protect ourselves. He didn't have much of a chance this year. That's legit. Yeah. Like your off season, the 4 guys, your core guys that were going to play together played less than 60 snaps together. Yep. We got Miami. We got 3 practice squad guys playing for us. Yep. Nobody could like you could have Pat Mahomes and he can't win it behind that. Well, I'm not giving up. He's under contract for 3 more years. Just protecting ourselves because best predictor of the future is the past.
So he said Patrick Mahomes, that's Joe Shane, the general manager of the Giants, couldn't even win in front of what the Giants had. Now, there's some truth to that, and there's some things that I would disagree with. Like, is Patrick Mahomes winning a Super Bowl with the Giants with what they had last year? No. Is Patrick Mahomes even getting to what would be an NFC title game with what the Giants had last year? Probably not. But there's a different standard to winning in each organization. Samter's Chiefs, I'll give him that, and I'm in a good mood. We're going into a holiday weekend. But Samter's Chiefs, right, their standard of winning right now, every year, fair or not, is Super Bowl or bust. But that's not the case for every team. Like, winning for the Giants last year, if you put in Mahomes, like maybe getting to the playoffs, maybe. But here's the question that I have. Patrick Mahomes, how many extra wins is he worth? Like, you put Mahomes on any other team in the league, let's just say. Like, for example, I put Mahomes on this team. How many more wins does he bring them? What's your answer? Just how many more wins is the number for you, Samter?
For the Giants, replacing Daniel...
No, just in general.
Well, it depends on who you're replacing, right? If you're replacing Josh Allen, 1 win. If you're replacing Daniel Jones, 4 wins. I'm
saying just the name Patrick Mahomes. Forget the team part. You put him on any other team, how many wins, how much of an improvement is Patrick Mahomes? Just give me a number.
3 to 5 games.
Okay. That's just one number. Don't give me just a number.
5 games.
Okay.
I say 4 games.
Okay. I thought 3. Now, I don't understand, like, in baseball, they do that WAR stat, wins above replacement. I would say 3 in the NFL is pretty fair.
It's a lot.
But we were in the Samter range of 3 to 5. What, you said 4?
I said 4, yeah.
And Samter was the low part 3, the high point 5. But, like, you put Daniel Jones on the Giants, now we'll do that. How many wins do they get? Like, they were 6-11 last year. It was actually impressive that they were 6-11. But how bad that offense was that they got to 6 wins. But you put Daniel Jones on the Giants last year, I don't think it's crazy to say they get 3 more wins. And then you're 9-8. You get 3 more wins there, you go from 6 to 9. How is that for some quick math for you folks? And 9-8 puts you in that wild card contending conversation. So, yeah, Joe Shane's not wrong. Yeah, even Patrick Mahomes doesn't win behind that because you could sell it in terms of, yeah, he won't win a Super Bowl with the Giants, but he makes you somewhat of a playoff team. So that's where I'm kind of at on that one. But no, I don't believe in Jones entering this season. I know it's now the sell job because they didn't get a quarterback in the draft. Stu, who's a quarterback that you don't believe in the NFL entering this season?
I will go with Will Levis. I know he's still pretty young, so there's still probably some growth there, but I just don't see it. The Titans do have some weapons. They did add some stuff around them. You know, you have Calvin Ridley now, so
Hopkins.
And Boyd as well, the former Bengal receiver.
And you got the next Jerry Rice, right? And Treylon Burks.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I think it was from Calvin Ridley. He was like, "Oh, this guy could have accomplished anything that he wants to," and he was like listing 3 wide receivers in the league, and I'm like, "Huh?"
Yeah, did not think that's who he was talking about. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see it, and it might not even be all his fault. I just don't see the Titans as a place that's set up to have immediate success, and you know the offensive line isn't that good. I just don't see Will Levis as being a guy this year that's going to do anything, and I think this will probably be the last year we consider him as like a starter or like a quarterback in the league.
The comment was Calvin Ridley says Treylon Burks reminds him of Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, and Terrell Owens. Let me let Calvin Ridley in on a secret. If Rand Carthon, who runs the Titans, believed that, you wouldn't be brought in. And you wouldn't have got the contract that you got. Because they've already paid DeAndre Hopkins. You know, if this worked with Treylon Burks, they're not overpaying for Calvin Ridley. So no, Treylon Burks may remind Calvin Ridley of Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, and Terrell Owens. That's just Calvin Ridley being a good teammate. If we shoot him up with true serum, there's no way he actually believes that. I kind of hope Levis succeeds. In a weird way, and Levis does a lot of weird things, but I think his personality is like quirky enough that not every quarterback needs to be like a buttoned up star. Like Mahomes, you know, the only thing to hate about Mahomes is like his brother. Like there's not a lot about Mahomes that we actually know. Joe Burrow, like he has that cool swag, but he's got to stay healthy. Like Josh Allen just seems like a regular dude. Like Lamar Jackson, he's exciting on the field, but off the field, you know, there's not a lot of memorable things with Lamar Jackson. You know, if Levis, and I'm not saying Levis is going to be a star, but if he could be one of those quarterbacks, like very good quarterbacks, I don't know. He will be doing some funky things on TikTok and social media. Like he doesn't even unpeel the banana. He puts mayo in the coffee. There's just a lot there with Will Levis. But you're right, Stu. They put him in a position where if he can't put up this year, and I'm not even saying he has to be great, but they have now enough around him where he could show that he could swim and he won't sink. And he had a monster game that first game with the 4 touchdown passes and the great connection he had with DeAndre Hopkins. So he was fine last year, but now they've actually put him in a position to succeed, and I'm curious to see if he'll be able to do that. And in a division that's gotten very good. Texans, very good. Jaguars, I think, will bounce back. Indianapolis, you need Anthony Richardson to stay healthy. Like, there's hope with those 3. Now it's Tennessee's time to join the party. Samter, who's your quarterback that you don't believe in entering this season?
There were 2 that really stood out to me. The one that
Whoever the Raiders have?
No, I love.
I was thinking the same thing. Aiden O'Connell was my first choice too, but I can't do Raiders today.
You know I love Minshew. Minshew's winning that job, and Minshew's going to lead them to something. I don't know what he's going to lead them to, but I love
5
Minshew.
wins.
Yeah, there you go. 5 wins, Minshew. So the first guy I went to, because obviously for personal reasons, but also just in general.
Personal reasons?
Yeah.
Personal reasons?
Deshaun Watson.
Oh, okay.
Is the guy, it was the first name that came to me of a guy who I don't believe in, but also I think that's kind of low-hanging fruit because he hasn't done anything in 3 years.
I thought you were going to go Rodgers because I thought you were playing into you used to be a Jet fan and now you're a Chiefs fan and you were just going to bang on Rodgers.
No, I think if Rodgers is healthy, he's going to be good with those weapons. I think the guy I'm actually going with is Kirk Cousins. I'm not buying into Kirk Cousins this year. 35 years old, coming off an Achilles, brand new system, new coordinator, new coach, new everything, new city. I know he's a good quarterback, but he's a stat guy. He's not a guy who wins games. He's a stat guy.
You love stat guys. You always give me stats.
I give you stats as a way to augment my argument.
Like
but
in
I don't
8
use
years,
stats.
you're going to give me stats about Kirk Cousins, and we're going to say, oh, that guy was a pretty damn good quarterback by the stats that you give all the time.
Yeah, but stats are only part of the picture. So when I give you stats, it's just to kind of help with my argument. I don't use stats for as the lone basis of my argument. Right? You look at Kirk Cousins, you watch him play. He's a good quarterback. He's a stat stuffer. He's had some of the best receivers to throw to in the NFL over the course of his career, so he's always had that.
Wait. What do you mean he's had some of the best? He said Justin Jefferson.
And Steph Diggs and Jordan Addison.
He didn't have Steph Diggs. That was Case Keenum with Steph. Did Kirk Cousins have Stephon Diggs in Minnesota?
Had to have.
I don't think so. You said, who did you say? Who was the other one you said?
Who else did I say? Oh, Hawkinson. When he's healthy, good tight end.
I think you said Addison as well.
Oh, Jordan Addison?
Jordan Addison.
Guys, Kirk Cousins got hurt last year. What are you talking about? Jordan, did he have Stephon Diggs in there when he was in Minnesota?
Yes. Yeah.
How long?
Oh, actually, hold on a second. Let me just check here.
Yeah. Let me just, I'm just curious. I would not say that.
Yeah,
Kirk
for 2 years, 2018 and 2019.
Okay. So he's had him for 2 years. And I wouldn't even think, I know he made the Pro Bowl, but I wouldn't, Stephon Diggs, I think people forget. He was looked at as a good wide receiver. And then when he got to Buffalo, that's when I truly looked at him as a guy that's a great wide receiver. He was good, very good. And then he went to that level of greatness, in my opinion, in Buffalo. But I don't think Kirk Cousins always been placed in the best situation. But
he's had very good wide receivers. Listen, Steph Diggs, 2 years with Kirk Cousins, 102 catches, 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 63 catches, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. Pretty darn good. But Kirk Cousins in general, 35 years old, coming off the Achilles. Everyone has the Falcons dominating that division. I like them. I think they'll be good. I think they finished second behind my Bucks and Baker Mayfield.
How many teams are you going to claim?
They're not really my Bucks. I'm claiming them because I think that they're going to beat the Falcons in that division. But Kirk Cousins, I think he'll be fine. I think he's going to put up decent numbers. I think the Falcons aren't going to be as good as people think they are. I think that he's going to show his age and show his injury a little bit more. So I'm just not buying fully into Kirk Cousins and the Falcons.
I'm almost craving a show bet. Not like a Maggie and Perloff show bet, because I'm not eating tuna jello. All right? That's just not happening. But we got to think of some show bet. Because I think the Falcons are going to win that division. I do. And even if Kirk Cousins sucks, then they'll put Michael Penix Jr. in. And Michael Penix Jr., he's ready to play right now. So you're down on both Watson and Kirk Cousins as well.
Correct.
Okay. Now, let me get to Stu's Lakers real quickly. So they've basically added no one this offseason. I saw that they have some assistant coaches coming on in. So that's at least nice as J.J. Redick is filling out his staff. But Woj had this morning that LeBron James agreed to a 2-year contract, $104 million max deal to return to the Los Angeles Lakers. So it's basically a 1-and-1 because there's a player option in that deal. Stu, what was your first reaction when you saw this?
Not surprised, honestly. A lot of the stuff that has transpired this offseason, starting with Redick, into Bronny, and now into Bron, and into them striking out on free agency. None of it's surprising to me. It's all kind of how I thought it would go. Did I hope it would go better than this? Of course. But, again, I'm not really stunned by really anything they've done. So I'm not shocked whatsoever that LeBron is back. Right? I think everyone's been saying it all offseason. I've been saying J.J. Redick was going to be the coach and Bronny was going to be there. The 2-year deal, though, and it being a player option after this, the drama is going nowhere with LeBron. It stays until he leaves. Because, he's finishing his career with the Lakers. Yes. I don't think he has it in him to leave the Lakers right now, which would be the smart thing if you actually cared about winning a championship, because the Lakers aren't winning a championship again with LeBron James. But I would think LeBron is a guy that needs a retirement tour. So we'd probably know at least by the All-Star game if LeBron was going to retire, because you want to get on at the All-Star game and you have the whole big send-off and everything, but probably before the start of the season. But this is like heading down a road where I think this is what he'll do for the rest of his career. You sign 1 year, opt out, you have all the drama surrounding you in the offseason, and you keep on staying in LA. And I'm just sick of the drama with it. And I don't know about you, Stu. What'd you think? The moment this gets announced, shortly after that, you got LeBron James on his Instagram. Did you see this at all? I have not been on Instagram, so I have not seen this, no. LeBron on his Instagram story has a video of him working out, sitting down, and just dripping sweat. Nice. No caption, nothing, doesn't even say anything. But that's basically like LeBron saying, look, I just got this contract, and I'm still putting in the work as I'm basically 40 years old right now. And I'm like, all right, do we really need all that stuff? Everyone knew you were getting the deal. It was going to be on your terms. It's always on your terms because you practically run the organization.
But it is sad that this at LeBron James's career is coming to a close with no legitimate shot to go win a championship. And don't tell me, oh, well, then people will just say that he was ring chasing and all that stuff. Who cares? He's left before. He went to Cleveland, went to Miami, came back to Cleveland, then went to LA. If he left LA, everyone would understand it. I wouldn't criticize it because it's in the best interest of him trying to go win another championship. And at this stage of his career, that's all that matters, are championships and him winning them. But he was not going to win another one ever again. It's kind of lame. It's lame that this is how LeBron's career is ending.
I'm just shocked he had time to post that picture with all the moves he's been orchestrating between Redick and Bronny and trying to get Clay and who knows what else is
the Clay
in the
thing's
cards.
the biggest farce. They were never getting Clay.
I think they had a chance, but it was definitely the right move for him to go to Dallas. I think they were one of the finalists. I think they were probably one of the 2 or 3 teams, but you're right. They probably were never the favorite, and it was probably never likely going to happen.
It's like when you're recruiting, and your dad went to that school, but you're not interested in going to that school, so you make him a finalist, but you weren't actually going to pick him. And Clay's
that's fair.
Father, we know what he's done for the Lakers. That's what it kind of felt like. And, this whole idea, LeBron was going to take less. And then the moment they don't get Clay, all right, we're going for a max, a 1-on-1 max. Come on. What are we doing here? It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Come on back with the news brief. Update time first. Here he is, the Ackman, Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
And it's sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your home and auto. Save when you bundle. Get a quote at Progressive.com. First it was Bronny, and now LeBron James. A day after his son enjoyed his moment in the sun, the dad signs a 2-year extension with the Lakers, ensuring they'll be the first father-son pair in NBA history. James will be 40 in December, but isn't exactly slowing down, averaging over 26 points a game last year. J.J. Redick is filling out his staff with experience, naming Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks as assistants. Both have significant head coaching experience. The baseball trade deadline is the end of this month. We got our first today with the Brewers acquiring starter Aaron Savali from the Rays for a minor league prospect. Milwaukee currently holds a 6-game lead in the NL Central and goes for back-to-back wins tonight in Colorado, while the Dodgers control the NL West and go for their 54th win against the Diamondbacks. Gavin Stone starts, going for his 10th win, while Zach Wheeler takes the mound for the Phillies, looking to improve on his 9-4 start as they continue a series against the Cubs at Wrigley. And 10-game winner Chris Sale takes the mound for the Braves against the Giants tonight. I'm Rich Ackerman.
This is the Infinity Sports Network. Check out our new and improved website at infinitysportsnet.com. That's infinitysportsnet.com.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time for your daily news brief. We get you caught up on the rumors, reports, and reconnaissance from the day in sports.
And it's time to Ask the Pros, where you, the listener, gets to ask us a question. It's brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply tweet your question at INFSportsCenter or at Zach Gelb using the hashtag Ask the Pros. Be listening later in the show. We might answer your question. Thank O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Let's start off with the newer, or newest? I guess it would still be, I don't know if he is the newest member of the Green Bay Packers, but you get what I'm saying. He's a new member of the Green Bay Packers. The da-na, go, Pack, go! And that's Stu's former running back in Josh Jacobs. He was on the NFL Network chatting up about the Packers offense.
Man, I honestly think the sky is the limit in this offense, man. Obviously with having a special guy in Jordan Love, and having a good offensive line and, some good receivers out there make it a lot easier for me. But just to be able to see the game plan and the things that they want me to do this year, the things that they're allowing me to do, I just think it's going to be a special year.
I'm liking the Packers. Like, there is part of me that goes, they broke out last year, so maybe they fall back a little bit. But you have Josh Jacobs, who's easy to root for. Jordan Love, easy to root for. It's a big year for Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. They got to take that next step. I know Bakhtiari is no longer there. and you had the change in defensive coordinator with Hafley coming in from the head coaching spot at BC. But I think the Packers are an easy team to root for heading into this season. Like, Stu, if we were to be like Samter and just give up on our teams, and let's just say we didn't want to run to the team that is the team in the Kansas City Chiefs, I think I may have a little interest in buying some stock of the Green Bay Packers. If I could say you're out on the Raiders, who's the team you go to root for? Who would it be?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think two teams in that division stick out to me, and it's the Packers and the Lions. I think both of those are very likable. I think the Texans as well.
You know who's also likable?
Who's that?
The Bears, too.
Yeah, the Bears. I would put the Bears in that as well.
It's like crazy. You say that Caleb Williams going to throw for 4,000 yards this year. It's the most. That would be the most in Bears history in an individual season, which is bonkers. So that's a team, the Packers, that Love went about it the right way, had to go through all the Rodgers nonsense. You kind of hope that he's someone that does get rewarded and had a good season last year. I have not heard this yet. Samter sent this to me. And sometimes Samter sends me a clip and I go, I'll listen to it before we get on the air, or I just want to hear it when we get on the air. But here is Travis Kelce on joining Taylor Swift on stage during the Eras Tour, which I'm sure Stu was at. This is on the New Heights podcast.
I initially mentioned it to Tay. I was like, how funny would it be if I just rolled out on one of the bikes during the 1989, that era? She started laughing. She was like, would you seriously be up for doing something like that? And I was just like, are you what?
Yeah.
Sure enough, she found the perfect part of the show for me to come in.
You guys killed it. It was so fun to watch.
I always wanted to pull out this move, but I never knew when I should pull it out. And it was the Dumb and Dumber, Jim Carrey, him doing tap dances.
Oh, yes.
That's one of my favorite moves of all time.
I love the Kelces. Travis Kelce, though, trying to play that as if, I just suggested it, jokingly. You're not jokingly suggesting it. You want it to be on stage. And I have no problem with him being on stage. If you are a big celebrity, and we know that Taylor Swift's an icon, and you're dating someone, whether they're significant or not, in terms of us knowing them, I have no problem you bringing your significant other out on the stage. But come on, Travis Kelce. Yeah, I just threw that out there, suggested it. You wanted to be on the stage. You thoroughly thought about that. So I like how he kind of played it off, which I just wasn't buying it. All right, let's get to someone I don't like. That's JJ Redick on the talk that Bronny got special treatment.
Rob and I did not give Bronny anything. Bronny has earned this, right? Bronny talks about his hard work. Bronny has earned this through hard work. And for us, prioritizing player development, we view Bronny as case study one, because his base level of feel, athleticism, point of attack defender, shooting, passing, there's a lot to like about his game. And as we sort of build out our player development program holistically, he's going to have a great opportunity to become an excellent NBA player.
That's why I hate JJ Redick. He makes it as if he's so, he is a prophet. He is the most erudite man in the world. Did he say holistically?
He said holistically. I'm very confused what that even means.
What is it? Come on. We're talking about basketball here. And he said he's case study one. Here'd be my follow-up question. Zach Gelb here from the LA Times. If he's case study one, why didn't you draft him at 16th overall? Come on. You don't wait till he's at 55th. In the second round.
I think it means case study one in the sense of case study one for our new development program. Super talented kid who just has had some issues that we can try to develop into something special. That's, I think, what he means. Not like he is special right now. It's just that, hey, he has the tools to be special. We just have to find a way to make him get to that level.
I have no problem with the Lakers. I have not bitched for 1 second about the Lakers drafting Bronny. My issue has been that LeBron could have got the best of both worlds, where he could have got Bronny drafted somewhere else and put himself in a position to once again win a championship, which he's not in right now in LA. The Lakers would have been better off just not even doing the Bronny James press conference. And I know people are going to say, oh, you can't do that. You can. I know Bronny, right, isn't KD and Kyrie, but KD and Kyrie never did an introductory press conference with the Brooklyn Nets. Right? They didn't. You didn't have to do a press conference there for a second-round pick. Sure, it's nice, right? You get all the photos, you get introduced. I'm sure he wanted to do it, but there was no winning for the Lakers in that press conference because you don't need to defend it. Like, they are going out of their way to defend the draft pick. We all know what happened. LeBron wanted him. That's why you drafted him. Okay? It's that simple. I don't need to sit here and you sell me on Bronny James. You made the decision. I get the decision. I don't have a problem with the decision whatsoever. I have not criticized the decision to draft Bronny James for 1 second. Not one single second. It does not bother me. But them trying to make it out more than what it actually is, and you get J.J. Redick, who's just an arrogant doofus sitting up there. That's the nicest thing I could say on the radio. And Pelinka and Bronny just talking. Enough of it. I'm done talking about Bronny James. I really am.
Done. It's just starting.
Oh, done until the season starts. All right, let's get to football. Let me go back to basketball. We have no football machine. Here is Draymond Green on Klay Thompson leaving the Warriors. The Draymond Green Show, courtesy of The Volume.
I don't really know how I feel about it. Klay told us last week. I don't know who all he told, but I know he talked to me. Pretty sure he talked to Steph last week. And he just kind of was like, yeah, man, like, just kind of started talking through the years. Like, been great. What we've done is so special. Like, when Klay told me, I was just able to listen, and it wasn't like we could finish like this or like, you should rethink this. It was just like, wow, like, all right, like, congrats, bro. Like, I'm happy for you. That's dope. And like, to obviously reassure that changes nothing for us, like, changes the basketball court, obviously. But the relationships, they are what they are. They are forever. I think I might have dropped a couple tears, tier 2.
I read the Ramona Shelburne article. I'm kind of sick of Klay trying to portray that he was some victim in this. Unfortunately, with the injuries you suffered, and the team has already paid you before in the past, even when you were hurt, you weren't worth it anymore. And they needed to move on from you. And I know it's a little hypocritical when they kept Draymond, but it's a year later. They shouldn't have kept Draymond. So I don't think Klay got screwed, and quite frankly, Klay's now in a better situation. Because even though Klay probably down deep didn't want to leave, even though he wasn't happy this past year, and he knew the writing was on the wall, you're now in a better shot and a better chance to go win another championship. So I'm sick of the whole Klay talk. Like, it was the right decision for Klay to leave, and it was the right decision for the Warriors to move on from him as well.
And one of the clips we didn't get a chance to play was from Jason Dumas, who covers the team.
Yeah.
He basically said that Klay was toxic behind the scenes. That it was very uncomfortable, the way he acted in the locker room. So while Draymond might be louder with how much of a mess he is, Klay was kind of a mess too, just a lot more quiet that we didn't hear about.
Klay was just annoyed because they didn't give him the new contract.
No, but during the season.
Yes, no, I'm well aware.
Right.
And that goes back to they didn't take care of this because he was trying to get a deal done last year as well. So that Klay was just... Basically, he was the kid that was told no, and he pouted the entire time. And, like, that's why I don't want to portray Klay Thompson being some victim that got screwed over by the Warriors. They made the right decision.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
Yo, it is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. 855-212-4227. Always hit me up. Instagram, Twitter, at Zach Gelb. That's ZACHGELB. Let me hear from Aiden Hutchinson, who I enjoy a lot. I thought he should have been the number one pick of the draft a few years ago. But this was on WXYZ in Detroit. Is 2024 going to be the year of the Detroit Lions? Listen up.
I feel like it's the year. I mean, with every fiber of my body, I feel like it's the year. And, you know, I mean, I honestly, I believe from this year on, every year is the year, you know, with the guys that we have. And, you know, I hope that we're going to sustain this success for a long time.
If I had to pick one team to win the Super Bowl this year, that I want to see win the Super Bowl, In the NFC, it would absolutely be the Detroit Lions. I think that would be so cool to see the fan reaction if the Lions get the job done. In the AFC, that's a tough one. One team that I would love to see win the Super Bowl. Like, you could argue from a fan standpoint, the Bills, their fans would just be absolutely bonkers. I really do like Joe Burrow, though. And Jamar Chase, and maybe the last run for T. Higgins. So I would go with the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, if you give me a Lions-Bengals Super Bowl,
that'd be awesome.
That would be fun.
And it would be like two fun teams, too. So it's not like just two bad franchises and fan bases who've been suffering. It'd be a great game. Joe Burrow and that offense against a lot. Oh, man, that'd be fun.
And also remember, Super Bowl this year, I think, is in New Orleans, right? So it's in the Superdome. A lot of points. I don't care what the over is in that game. I'm taking the over in that game. So we could be going to Nolans this year, down on Bourbon Street. Have you've been to New Orleans, right, Samter, before? Like, I feel like New Orleans is a big Samter vibe. You walk around with one of those hurricanes. Samter's just drunk, out of his mind. All the food, because I don't know about you, Stu. Stu, do you try a lot of different things, or are you kind of
like food wise?
Yeah,
yes, definitely.
So you'll eat anything?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
absolutely. I'm not like your old producer.
Yeah, only eat chicken nuggets and
peanut
pasta.
butter and jelly sandwiches. Yeah,
him and Joe Shane have something in common. They only both eat.
He's probably in Italy right now eating a PB&J.
Yeah, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh yeah, Hickey's in Italy. That's right. I could see Hickey have all this pasta, all this pizza, all this gelato. You got any PB&J? I review peanut butter and jelly. Got to try the peanut butter and jelly out here in Italy. See if it's up to par. Give it a review. Blindfold me. I can tell you that it's a good peanut butter and jelly or not. All right. I'll my girlfriend Lolly record it, and then we'll end up looking at it. Sound like Mickey Mouse there for a second.
So apparently that's burro de arachidi e gelatini.
Can you say that with an Italian accent?
Burro de arachidi e gelatina.
Sounds like a pasta dish, honestly. Yeah, but Bourbon Street and New Orleans, that's Alligator, the Po' Boys.
I've been to Mardi Gras 3 times, but that was early to mid-20s Samter.
I went to Mardi Gras when I was in college.
Yeah, Mardi Gras is awesome. I've been there a few times. It's been fantastic. But now 44-year-old Samter, it's all about the food.
No.
It's all about the food.
I thought you were talking about some girl that you met when you were in New Orleans. You're like, I thought you said she's now 43 or 44, but did you say that?
I said sheesh.
Oh, sheesh. Oh, I thought you said she's now 43 or 40. I'm like, what girl
43, 44-year-old Samter, it's all about the food.
Yeah, I think I would need to carry you around if we were to actually drink in New Orleans. But I will say, my body, when it comes to drinking, the next day, it is quickly just slowed down.
Welcome to old age, buddy.
Oh,
man, I've been there for a while.
My sister, I was FaceTiming my sister the other day with my niece and everything, and she goes, "You have food in your beard." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I don't got food in my beard. I didn't eat dinner yet. How could I have food in my beard?" And I realized that she got it confused with 2 of the gray hairs that I have in my beard.
Oh no!
So I realized that I did not, because we were getting in a fight over it over FaceTime. She's like, "Hey, you got food in your beard?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. There's no food in this beard, or little beard that I have." So anyway, give me some music here, because we're going to go off the Aiden Hutchinson comments. We'll do a little draft here. Teams to win the Super Bowl. You know what, Santa? I'm in a good mood today. We'll let you go first. Stu will go second. I will go third.
Wonder who he's going to pick first.
Well, he has to pick him first.
I mean, there's a clear number 1 and then 9 teams that could be number 2. So I'm going Chiefs number 1.
Okay. It's the obvious pick. How could anyone dispute it? Stu, who do you go to?
I will go with their AFC counterpart in the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay. I will then take the San Francisco 49ers, and I will double up and be a pig in the NFC. And I can't believe I'm back in on this team, because I felt like I would never get back in on them after the way they collapsed last year. But they got so much talent. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles. And I feel bad not putting the Lions on there. Like, really bad not putting the Lions there as my second pick. But I will go 49ers and Eagles. Stu?
I will go with another AFC team, which I guess could be a mistake, but I do think this team has a lot of talent, and this team could still make a Super Bowl run, and I think that is the Bills.
I like that. You like that? You like that? I like that. Samter doesn't like Kirk Cousins, but I like that pick of the Bills. All right, what do we got, Samter? You got 2 picks.
I got my 3 and 4 teams still on the board. The Lions and the Ravens in my back-to-back here. Lions and Ravens. I'm going to go Lions in the second round here, and then Ravens wrapping around in the third round.
So it's funny. We've made, in order here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks until you made 6 picks, right? Until you made your Ravens pick?
No, 5. 5, and then his pick was 6 and 7.
See, that's why I'm terrible at that.
No, but the Ravens pick was 7. So I
okay, so the Ravens pick was a 7 pick.
Correct.
All right, so maybe I'm not that dumb as I thought I was.
Maybe I'm not as dumb as I thought. Yeah, that was close enough. Yeah.
Maybe I'm not as dumb as I thought I was.
Yeah, no, that worked.
Yeah. All right, that's English.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's somewhat grammatically correct. It's like I grew up here and, able to talk a little English well. I did that on purpose.
Well, nice. That's good. No, you don't speak English good. You speak English well.
It's funny, though, in the first 7 picks, the Ravens and Eagles are both in there. Because the Ravens were a team last year that were great in the regular season and then failed miserably in the postseason. The Eagles got out to this 10-1 start, and then they were the worst team in the league down the stretch, only winning 1 game the rest of the season, which is actually impressive, just not the side of impressiveness that you want to be on. It's a bad way of being impressive. But the running back trend in the NFL, right? We're talking about how the value of the running back's going away and away and away. Both those teams this offseason made big running back moves. Ravens getting Derrick Henry, which is a nightmare trying to defend them in the red zone. And the Eagles already had so many weapons with A.J. Brown. You have Jalen Hurts. You got Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Then they go at Saquon Barkley. It's just interesting to me. Both those teams have traveled this offseason. You love the Ravens, though. I've heard you hyping up the Ravens a lot this offseason. I just don't believe Lamar. As much as I love Lamar, and I was defending Lamar coming out of college, and I was a believer in Lamar Jackson, I just don't envision the Ravens winning a Super Bowl. I just don't.
You know what? You add Derrick Henry to that offense with the way that they run the ball and the way that they use running backs. I honestly think that they're going to be virtually unstoppable on offense.
Well, until the playoffs?
The problem is when they get behind, can Lamar do enough with his arm to get them back into games? The problem is they're going to be so good on offense, I don't think they're going to be behind very much.
So why I'm out on the Ravens, I still think they're going to be a playoff team, and I love Derrick Henry, and I love Lamar. That's going to be fun. But I'm out on them just because I don't trust Monken as their offensive coordinator, because he tried to win specific way last year with an ego. We're going to throw. And in the AFC Championship game, I was there saying, why aren't they doing some dump-off passes? Why aren't they running the ball? Why aren't they running the ball more with Lamar? It just didn't make any sense to me. So I don't know. Are they just going to put them in the best position to win or try to win a certain way? And if you try to win a certain way and try to dispel a narrative, I don't think that's a good formula. All righty, Stu, who's your next pick?
So I'm between 2 teams here. I think there's a kind of a little drop-off. Definitely not the Raiders.
Sorry.
There's a bit of a drop-off a little after these 2 teams. Not the Pats.
Oh, okay.
The Panthers, no. I will go with the Packers. I think they have a chance in the NFC to maybe not surprise, but I think they could win that division. I think the NFC is very open. I could see them getting to a Super Bowl, so I will go with the Packers with my next pick.
Okay, so far off the board, Samter has the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Stu has the Bengals, the Bills, and the Packers. I have the 49ers and the Eagles. So I guess I now have to pick a team in the AFC because I don't have an AFC team. And quite frankly, after those 3 teams, the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Lions being off the board, and Stu just took the Packers, there's one team that I'm still monitoring, but it's not as if I should go out of the AFC, and not take a team in the NFC to keep on going with teams in the NFC. I'll take this team, and they shined in a big way last year. And could they fall back a little bit? Yeah, I guess you could say that, but I love their quarterback. That's the Houston Texans. So give me the Texans with my third pick. Now I got to make another pick. Huh.
Now it gets tough.
I thought I was going to have time to think about this. I forgot that this was a snake draft. All righty. Good coaching, good quarterback. Give me the LA Rams. 49ers, Eagles, Texans, Rams are my 4. Stu has the Bengals, the Bills, and the Packers. Santer has the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Ravens. Stu, give me your next pick.
That's interesting.
This is where it gets tricky.
Yeah, this is where it gets really tricky because every team left definitely has some pretty significant flaws.
All the teams left, like, you're squinting.
Yeah.
You're, like, looking at them, and
Can
you're
I
like...
see it?
You're like, ooh, okay, like... I'm trying to avoid what I'm seeing out of my left eye, which is just not being a Super Bowl team, but can I squint hard enough where my right eye, it's going to be like, okay, I could see them hoisting the Lombardi.
All right. Lot of offensive firepower, a quarterback with something to prove. He has to stay healthy, a good coach. I'll go with the Dolphins.
Which, are you coaching them this year? Because you do look like Mike McDaniel.
Hey, maybe that's what they need, is me to coach them. I don't know.
No,
I like McDaniel. I think McDaniel's a good coach.
The press conference, Stu's press conferences would be fun. Like, McDaniel doesn't shut up. I feel like Stu would be more like Belichick. He'd give you nothing at those press conferences.
Yeah, Stu's not grouchy enough, though. He'd give you nothing, but he's not grouchy. He has a smile on his face.
Could you imagine? Like, I don't know. Let me just throw Stu Gotz's name out there. Not that he would go to a press conference, but there was a chance he was going to be our boss when Spike left, and it ended up not being Stu Gotz. Could you imagine, like, Stu getting a question from Stu, and then our Stu telling a Stu that would have been our Stu, like, what is that, the dumbest question I've ever heard? How the heck do you ask me that? I'm a football coach. You know, JJ Redick could go from podcaster to being a basketball coach. Have you seen my soccer podcast? Now I'm the football coach. You know, it's football somewhere. All righty. Stu Gotz. You know what that means? I'm not going to say what it actually means, but we can continue. All righty. Samter, who's your pick?
This is an easy one for me. The first of my snake. I have them as a 2-4 as my 7th overall team. I talked about them yesterday. I love the Steelers. I think the Steelers.
Wow.
With that
Super Bowl?
I mean, as my 7th team,
Here
I
we
have
go.
them above the Eagles, the Packers, the Dolphins.
Here we go.
I really like the Steelers. I think that defense is
Here
just
we
what
go.
that defense is. Russell Wilson is just better. Even if he's not great, he's better than what they had last year. And they have enough weapons on offense at the running game and Pickens and those wide receivers. So I'm definitely going Steelers there. Now I'm torn. Now I'm going down to my bottom of my big board. And
There's one team out there.
There's 2 teams out there that are very difficult for me to choose between.
There's one team out there that we're all thinking about.
Yep.
Are they going to get picked? Are they going to get picked? Are
Yep.
they going to get picked?
They're going to get picked, I think. That
You
team that
know
you're talking
I
about.
ain't picking them.
No.
So it has to be one of you two to pick them.
I would think that Stu would probably pick them if I don't. So I am going in between my former team and America's team. And I'm going to go with
It's like, which disease would you rather have?
Your future team.
the Jets, Jets. The Cowboys, I think, have a shot, and the NFC is definitely weaker. But if the Jets can stay healthy and put it all together, like I've said before, their roster rivals outside of the 49ers and probably the Eagles, any other roster in the NFL.
So I love you, Samter, but you are such a fraud. So I'm curious how you're going to answer this question. The Jets, let's just play into this game. The Jets win the Super Bowl. You have grown up as a Jet fan. This last year, you ditched the Jets, or you claimed to say so. Even though when Braden Fisk was in there, you were like, oh, Mr. Fisk, nice to meet you. You know, I hope my team gets you. And I'm like, and then you started talking about the Jets, and I go, I thought you were a Chiefs fan. But if the Jets win the Super Bowl, Samter, with this, shtick that you're doing on the air, are you allowed to celebrate? Are you allowed to go to the parade? Is Samter going to be happy if the Jets win the Super Bowl because they were your team, even though I still think they are your team, but you're not claiming them as your team?
I can do whatever the hell I want to do.
See? Wow. Stu, I don't think, right? We have to have checks and balances on this show. So if he's going to say one thing, you and I have the ability to override it. I don't think we allow him to have happiness if the Jets win the Super Bowl because he gave up on them.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in. I don't think, because what if they play the Chiefs? What if they play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game and beat the Chiefs?
You know what?
And they're the ones that knock out the Chiefs.
I think I'm rooting for that to happen.
Listen, if we have a Jets-Chiefs AFC title game or any playoff game whatsoever,
I think you're the loser of it. I don't even think you could be the winner.
I know who I'm rooting for.
Yeah, you're rooting for the Jets.
You just don't know me that well.
I do. You're rooting for the Jets. I'll get a lie detector in here. We'll hook you up to the lie detector. There is no doubt about it you would be rooting for the Jets.
Connect that lie detector directly to my Chiefs tattoo.
You don't have one. You didn't get it.
Oh, that's right. We still need the tattoo.
Yeah, Mike Pinnell says you can't be, and he's a Chiefs player. I don't want to mess with him. He's a big dude. But he said you can't be a Chiefs fan until you get the tramp stamp. The Chiefs tramp stamp.
I never agreed to the tramp stamp. I agreed to the tattoo, but never a tramp stamp.
Fine. You're right. You said you were going to get it right on your forehead.
That would be awesome.
Could you imagine you go home to your wife with a Chiefs tattoo on your forehead? How quickly does she file for divorce?
I feel like I saw something in one of those like celebrity judge shows where some guy got a tattoo out of a dare from like a radio station that said like if you get a tattoo,
get on your lip,
like $500,000 or something. No, he had to get it on his forehead.
Oh,
he got the tattoo, and then they reneged, said it was a prank. But he then sued them, be like, "Well, you can't do that. I got a tattoo on my forehead."
Was
sure
that
it was
legit?
fake.
Because I used to work at a radio station. It was a sports station, but down the hall was a very popular music station. And all those like bits, they ruined it for me because they said, those are all like pre-recorded and they're all just not actual bits that end up happening.
Yeah, so it was on personal injury court, one of those, fake kind of, not fake, but whatever, celebrity judge shows.
Okay.
And it was an April Fool's prank. The station was, I don't want to say the station, but he got the letters tattooed on his forehead.
You got the station tattoo.
And the station, I guess the call letters are actually very funny when you put them together.
Okay. Can you not say them on the air?
Crud.
So he's walking around with crud?
K-R-U-D.
With crud on his face and the word crud, too.
Yes. And they said it was just a prank, but, that's a pretty rough prank. Anyway, continue on
Okay,
with
so
the
you
draft.
take the Jets. Stu, who's your last pick?
All right. So when it comes to the Cowboys, I know we teased them. I think it's still too early to take them. I just can't see myself doing it. If we had another round or two of this, I could see myself.
You gonna make me pick them?
I'm not picking them. I'll
Okay.
just say that.
So who's
I
your
will
next
go
pick?
with a team that I believe will maybe not easily win their division, but I think is, other than the top echelon teams, the best chance to win their division. So I'll go with the Atlanta Falcons to
Oh, you bastard.
win the Super Bowl.
I was like, if I have the Falcons or the Cowboys on the board, I'll go with the Falcons over the Cowboys.
There's still one other team that you could take over the Cowboys. Like a legitimate team that has a shot.
In the AFC, you're saying?
Yes.
I'm not going the Browns.
A team that we thought was a contender last year.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking
Okay.
about. Jacksonville or the Cowboys?
That's a tough one.
Both coaches have Super Bowls. My last pick?
Come on, go Jags. Come on, do it. Do it.
Could go Tampa.
Oh, come on, do it. Don't tease us.
I could go Tampa. Hold on, wait a second, Jim. Jim.
Loving Justin Herbert? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Geno Smith? People writing you off?
That would just be trolling if you went that way.
The return of Kyler Murray? Bryce? Oh, no, I can't go Bryce Young. All righty. Anyone got soap? Gotta wash my mouth out with soap. Give me the Cowboys.
Oh, that just feels dirty.
Yeah. I just did a sports minute too on how the Cowboys are screwed this year because of all the drama that's going on. Santer's picks to win the Super Bowl. Chiefs, Lions, Ravens, Steelers, Jets in the draft. Stu, Bengals, Bills, Packers, Dolphins, Falcons. Yours truly, the 49ers, Eagles, Texans, Rams. And let's take a break, should we?
No, you forgot that last team. What was that last team that you picked?
Sorry, I'm forgetting things.
After the Rams, you picked one more team in the NFC. Who was it?
Am I running for president right now? I'm forgetting things?
I can roll back the tape because we had. I don't remember. I marked everything down, but I'm missing a team. Who was it? Can you please just remind me?
Who's the team? The Cowboys.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Infinity Sports Network.
It is the Zach Gelb Show. My life is in shambles right now. We did a draft, 15 teams, to win the Super Bowl. I had the last pick. The Cowboys were still there, and I elected to take the drama Dallas choking Cowboys. So that's number one. Number two, I can't believe I'm about to admit this on the air because I think Samter and Stu are going to crush me for this. And it's very un-American of me. And I love America. I'm not even going to be able to barbecue this weekend. 4th of July, synonymous with barbecuing, having a good time, loving America. And Samter, I am not in a position to barbecue this weekend.
Wow.
Explain. I don't understand.
So I had big 4th of July plans. Then the company came to me, and I was off Thursday and Friday, and I'm also, obviously not here Saturday and Sunday. So I had these big plans where obviously there'd be a ton of barbecuing and grilling. The company came to me and they said, can you fill in on WFAN in New York on Friday? So when you fill in on the fan, you got to watch like every baseball game, every inning of every baseball game. So tomorrow, that means I'm staying in the city instead of going where I was going to go, where there would be a bunch of grilling, because I got to watch the Mets and the Yankees who both play. The Mets play at like 11 a.m. The Yankees are at 1. So that just absolutely cooks me for the rest of the day. Then Friday, I am hosting, right, on the fan, and then I'm going out at night, but there'll be no barbecuing. Going to a restaurant. Saturday, I'm linking up with my parents. We just barbecued last weekend for my dad and mom. It was my dad's 65th and my mom's 63rd birthday. They're both born on the same day, just 2 years apart. So we had a very, very, very good barbecue. My dad made lamb chops, and he actually then cooked up lobster too, and he grilled asparagus. Everything was sensational, and he made a very good salad too. So Saturday we're going out for dinner at a big Italian restaurant, and I'm traveling back Sunday. So I'm just not in a position to barbecue and grill. And that's very un-American like me. But I am blaming our company because they want me to work Friday, and I'm just a great company guy, and I'm always willing to help out. So that's what I'm doing.
So let's live hypothetically and vicariously. Mm-hmm. If you were to be grilling, what is the number one item that needs to be on that hot grill on 4th of July weekend?
So my appetizers are actually not grilled. I'm a sucker for pasta pesto. Like, I love pasta with pesto sauce as the appetizer. My best friend's mother, Lori, she makes her own pesto. Anytime they're very close family friends. Anytime I've gone over there and she makes pasta pesto, that is sufficient for me for the appetizers. And honestly, you go get a charcuterie board, things like that. I'm good with that for the appetizers. I don't need to grill my appetizers. I love lamb chops, man. Especially the Australian lamb chop. I am the lollipop lamb chops. I love lamb chops. And you know what I had recently, by the way? I had a jalapeno chicken burger. Quite frankly, it was one of the more tasty burgers that I've ever had recently.
Sounds amazing.
A jalapeno chicken burger. So I would say a lamb chop, a jalapeno chicken burger. Are we really going gluttonous, right? Throw some burgers, actual burgers on the grill, and you got to give me a dog, too. How do you not have a hot dog?
You have to have a hot dog on 4th of July.
I may have to go. Do I have to go to a street vendor now in New York City and get one of those dirty water dogs?
You could do that.
Nah, I don't know.
It's not the same, no.
No, not the same whatsoever. So that's on my grill, and you got to have some veggie. So I would say the asparagus. I like the asparagus.
Yeah, asparagus is
even
good.
though they make your urine smell a little funky.
I think corn's the way to go.
I'm
all for grilled asparagus. I love grilled asparagus. But corn on 4th of July, that's the way to go.
Yes. And we don't discriminate, so you don't have to only have asparagus. Yeah, corn as well. Throw everything. It's a buffet. You can't just tell me one thing or stuff like that. But corn's phenomenal.
So for me, listen, I love, hot dogs on 4th of July. I will do it. I'll make the exception. I'm not a huge grilled hot dog guy. I'm more of the ballpark water dog kind of guy.
Okay.
I don't. Maybe it was just growing up at Yankee Stadium, working at Yankee Stadium, selling hot dogs.
You were a vendor. I forgot.
And I used to sell hot dogs. But there's something about those water
hot
dogs
dogs
that I
here.
love.
Hot dogs, hot dogs, hot dogs. What would be your call, by the way?
For the hot dogs?
Yeah. Like, what's your hot dog call?
Hot dogs here, get you red hot dogs.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, not bad.
Was that a yawn act, or was that you saying no?
I was like,
Okay. I couldn't tell. All I heard was, I didn't know if that was a yawn or act, just like, What would your hot dog call be?
Hot dogs, get your hot dogs.
I wasn't expecting that from Mac.
There you go, all right.
Stu, go ahead.
Hot dogs, get your hot dogs here.
Who wants a Frankfurter? I got a Frankfurter right here.
Kind of
here.
feels like the Seinfeld moment where Kramer and Jerry are pretending to laugh, and George walks in and he goes, "Why are you guys pretending to laugh?"
Yeah, I think you got to do something that makes you recognizable. Like, I was at the Met game. I think I said this when I went with Carlos Ortiz. There was a guy selling peanuts and Cracker Jacks, and he wasn't even saying peanuts or Cracker Jacks. He was like, here we are. Like, that's all he was saying. And I'm like, yeah, I'll buy a bag of peanuts from you.
Well, that's because you don't have to sell peanuts and Cracker Jacks at a baseball game in the sense that, like, people see it, they want to get it, right? So you don't have to say peanuts, Cracker Jacks, just make a noise to get people's attention. Hot dogs, you got to sell a little bit. You got to kind of,
Who wants my Frankfurter? Who wants one?
No, thank you. I'm out. Never having a hot dog again.
Man, the Frankfurter sell has been just going rampant throughout the stadiums these days, ever since we got this big fella to sell them.
You got to get the soda guy, too. Soda here, soda here.
Yeah. Well, no, the big one for soda is ice cold soda. Here, get your ice cold soda. Now, I did soda. Soda is what they give to people who they don't like. Because
oh, really?
Yeah, like when you sell beer, you're selling 4 or 5 beers to a person or whatever it's going to be. No one's drinking more than one soda, right? So, like, you're carrying, and soda's heavy, right? Cracker Jacks is light. Popcorn is light. Even the hot dogs, you're carrying around this big thing, but it wasn't as encumbered. Soda was super heavy, and nobody drank soda at a ball game. They were drinking water, and they were drinking beer. And so the soda was like the worst thing. I would always get it, and I didn't make a lot of money off
So there's a drink called the Coco Loco. Have you ever heard about that?
No, is that like an energy drink?
It's a tequila-based cocktail
Okay,
with
I'm in.
rum, melon liquor, pineapple juice, and lime. So as a youngster, I was on a family vacation. There was a guy on the beach, and I'll never forget this because it was his call. He was like, "Get your Coca Loca, your island special." That's how he would do it, in that voice, that high pitch. And, as a youngster, I would just hear, I didn't even know what he was selling. I was like, "Get your special." And that's something I remembered all these years later. So what's on your grill, Santa? What are you cooking up 4th of July?
So I was saying I normally will make an exception for the hot dog. You have to go hot dog 4th of July, but I think 4th of July is about the burgers too, man. It's just a good, nice burger, and like that's what I'm doing. Burgers and fireworks.
Okay. Oh, you're a big fireworks guy. Don't JPP.
I'm not a big fireworks guy, but something about 4th of July, you need some sort of something.
So
now,
you know
fireworks
what?
are very interesting because people either love fireworks or they hate fireworks.
I used to love fireworks, and my dog is no longer around, but in the later years of my dog's life, fireworks she got so nervous of the fireworks. So I don't need fireworks. I don't. But you find out who the pyros are this time of the year. There's no doubt about that. Stu, where are you?
On the fireworks or the grilling?
Fireworks and the grilling.
Okay, so the grilling, I'll just keep it simple. I just want a hot dog and a burger on the 4th of July. As for sides and appetizers, give me some homemade potato salad, homemade macaroni salad.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Maybe a little mac and cheese, not grilled, obviously, but cooked in the oven. Little nice homemade mac and cheese. I'll go with that. Fireworks, I'm fine. Like in the bigger setting, like the city puts on the fireworks. That's great. Whenever it's like the neighbors shooting off fireworks, that's when I'm like, okay, can we not? Even last night it was starting. Like there are people around where I live that were shooting off fireworks. 2 days before July 4th.
Already?
Yes, already. And I'm just like, here we go. It's that time of year.
Yeah, that's a little crazy already. Like, I think you get I think you're allowed to do it over the weekend. Like, 4th of July is tomorrow. It's a Thursday. If you want to shoot off fireworks Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm okay. But if it's Sunday night and you're shooting off fireworks, then you're just being a jerk. Or if you're doing it a day or two before, I do think you're being a jerk because you may not get rid of all the fireworks just on one night of 4th of July. I mentioned JPP. Remember when he blew off some of his fingers with the whole firework incident, which is still crazy, and he was able to still play at a very high level. What's the worst injury you guys have ever had? We never got into this. Stu, what's the worst injury you've ever had?
Honestly, nothing significant. The biggest injury I probably have had is a sprained pinky from playing basketball. Never a broken bone, never any ligament injuries, nothing like that. No, horrible cuts or abrasions. No.
Yeah, not like EJ with the torn patella tendon at the charity kickball game.
I couldn't even imagine that.
Samter, your worst injury?
Worst injury, freshman year, high school football.
Oh, the ACL. We've heard about this.
Yeah.
Samter is going to be the next Walter Payton if it wasn't for this injury.
I'm just saying, I was crushing it on the scout team. We were short players, so I went to a buddy of mine who was a bigger dude, and I was like, hey, why don't you come out for the football team? He came out a week later.
Oh, you guys were short players.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were describing yourself.
Well, I was a short player. Yeah, that's very true.
I was like, where's this going?
So I helped recruit him on the defense. He was a defensive lineman. And the starting running back got hurt. The backup running back was in the doghouse. They threw me in as the starting running back in practice. And I ran. I scored a touchdown on my first run. Broke like a 60-yard run. I was like, okay, here we go. Let's do this. Second run, make a cut inside the line. My buddy Jim goes to tackle me, the guy who I recruited to the team. And my leg got caught underneath me. And the starting quarterback on the varsity team had also torn his ACL a few months prior, heard the pop from the other field, and came hobbling over on his crutches as I screamed and wailed in agony on the court. So I tore my ACL, MCL, and stretched my PCL. Almost the full Napoleon McCullum.
What is the worst injury you've ever suffered?
Well, I had surgery on my neck last year, so I have to go with that. Yeah.
So. That's no fun.
Yeah, no, and the strange thing, at least Samter came on the field. Mine, I just got out of the shower and all of a sudden felt like I was a Clydesdale and somebody went, and I was like, whoa, that hurt a lot.
I suffered a herniated disc playing, I got to be very careful when you say that, by the way.
Disc.
Yes, disc. Just making sure. Playing basketball, which I thought I was the next day, I thought I could barely even get up and walk.
Yeah, it's not fun.
But I think the worst injury I've ever suffered was actually on 4th of July when I was a youngster. No fireworks related here. There was we didn't have a boat, but we had friends that had a boat, and you could go then to a special beach area. It was not a private island, but it was a little bit of a secluded beach area. But when you got to a certain point, the boat couldn't go any further, so you would get out and you would swim. And I guess when I was swimming and I got close to the shore, I stepped on a bottle, and I was 7, 8 years old or something like that, if not even younger, and I had to go to the hospital. So my dad was carrying me back to the boat. He stepped on a bottle too. So he just needed I think they said to give him a tetanus shot. I had to get stitches. But both of us spent the 4th of July in a hospital together one year because we both cut our foot on a bottle, or I don't know what he stepped on still to this day. But I stepped on a bottle. So that was probably the worst injury I've ever suffered. Probably the herniated disc was worse, but the bottle story is a better story. Anywho, we'll come on back with This Week in Sports. But first, here's the latest update with the Act Man, Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
Yesterday, the Lakers introduced Bronny James. Today, his dad ensured they will be the first father and son teammates in the NBA, re-signing with the Lakers a 2-year extension worth over $100 million. James will be 40 in December, and this all but guarantees that he'll finish his career in L.A. His new head coach, J.J. Redick, is surrounding himself with experienced assistants, naming former head coaches Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks to his staff. The baseball trade deadline isn't until the end of the month, but the Rays got started today, sending Aaron Savali to the Brewers for a prospect. The Orioles have taken over sole possession of first place in the American League East with last night's win in Seattle. They come back with Dean Kramer on the mound tonight against Logan Gilbert, while the sputtering Yankees are a game back after a 5-4 loss to the Reds last night. The Twins right behind the Yankees in the AL wildcard race and are 6 games back in the AL Central. They'll go for their 4th straight against the Tigers, while the Phillies send Zach Wheeler to the mound tonight against the Cubs as he goes for his 10th win. The Dodgers' Gavin Stone also looking to join the 10-win club when he starts against the Diamondbacks. And Chris Sale, who's already there, goes for the Braves against the Giants. I'm Rich Ackerman.
This is the Infinity Sports Network. Follow us on X. Our handle is INF Sports Network. That's INF Sports Network on X.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Fire up the time machine.
I don't believe what I just saw.
We take a look back at the biggest moments in history on another edition of This Week in Sports on the Zach Gelb Show.
All righty, Samter, what happened this week in sports?
Well, this was a very interesting week in sports, and obviously it's the 4th of July, so you think about all the different 4th of July events that may have happened, something maybe we could talk about Kobayashi or something Joey Chestnut related. Obviously, we were just talking about JPP and the fireworks incident. July 1st is Bobby Bonilla Day. We consider that. Ugh. But we look back a little bit. Actually, the event that we're going to kind of focus on happened last week on June 28th, 1997. However, 3 days later, Mike Tyson was suspended by Nevada Boxing Commission for what he did against Evander Holyfield in their second fight, and this is what it sounded like.
Tyson with a short left hook to the head of Holyfield. What happened here?
He got bit, I think.
Evander Holyfield, look out, he's pushed right here above us. A dirty Mike Tyson.
I can't believe. Well, first he had a parachute drop on him, now he had a heavyweight. When did we get that on tape?
Biting Holyfield in the right ear.
Hurts like hell, but he certainly had a big bite. And that's a dangerous bite.
He bit his ear. I can see the bite mark.
He bit his ear, he's out.
Telling Mark Brad.
2-point deduction. The fight will go on. 2-point.
Major controversy here in round 3.
You know, it's funny. Mike was having his best round. He bit him again. He bit him again. I'll tell you what, this is unbelievable.
I mean, he bit him twice, and he literally, you watch the video close enough, you can see him spitting out the chunk of his ear.
Well, there's two things off that. Number one, maybe Mike was just trying to get Holyfield's ear because he wanted to grill it and then eat it for his 4th of July barbecue. Could be that.
Certainly possible.
The other thing, imagine if Shep actually was fighting Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson took a bite out of Shep's ear.
That I'd pay to see.
All right, 855-212-4227. It is the Good Shepherd Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We go to Jim in Louisiana. Jim, how are you?
Hey, Shep, doing good.
Jim, I can't hear you. I lost my ear from Mike Tyson. I lost my ear. He bit off my ear.
All right, continue.
So there it is. Mike Tyson biting Evander Holyfield. It was Tyson's 4th. Tyson had 4 fights, 4 wins after his return from prison. Lost to Holyfield. This was the rematch, the second fight. And he bit Holyfield's ear. Obviously, Holyfield lost his mind, was flipping out and going crazy.
So
and if you think about Holyfield, the worst luck, he also had the fan man incident against Riddick Bowe where they were in Vegas, Caesar's Palace, and the fan man came in a parachute and crashed into the ring. So poor Evander Holyfield with all these crazy things that happened during his boxing career. But that was the real fall for Mike Tyson for me because there was obviously the prison sentence and all that other stuff. But when he came back, he still felt like Iron Mike. He's going to come back. He's going to destroy everybody. Then he lost to Holyfield. You're like, all right, was it just rust? And then we saw this and we're like, that's it. Done. Mike Tyson will never be the same. And this was the end of Mike Tyson forever watching this moment. And so it makes you think about what were the most bizarre sports injuries that we remember seeing. Losing an ear in a boxing match is right up there. But Zach, what do you got?
I will go with Joel Zumaya, the former pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. He had right wrist inflammation, and it caused him to miss the ALCS. If memory serves right, he did return for the World Series, but the reason the manager gave while he was out was because the right inflammation occurred in the wrist because he was playing too much Guitar Hero. Now, Zumaya denies it, but never gave the actual reason why he was actually hurt. So I have to believe that it was because of the Guitar Hero. Stu, were you a big Guitar Hero guy? I could see you being a big Guitar Hero guy.
Not really, no.
No?
I've played it a few times, but never owned it or...
You're more of the killing video games and everything?
A little, but it's really the sport ones.
Oh, okay.
Those are the ones that get me.
Hey, Gallo! Why is the screen shaking, Gallo? I don't know why it's shaking.
All right, Samter, what's yours? Most bizarre sports injury?
So I was thinking about a couple of them. There's Orlando Brown getting hit in the eye with the flag in 99, right? One that hurt me, Mariano Rivera tearing his ACL, shagging flies before a game back in 2012. So I went kind of a different route than you. In the light of the Tyson Holyfield, where it actually happened in the midst of the event, I was looking at things that happened during games, right? Not something that happened on the
your
off
ACL
time.
tear that prevented you from being an all-time great running back?
That was right up there. I considered that as one of the options, but really the one that stands out that's the wackiest was the Gus Frerotte back in 1997 in the preseason, slamming his neck into a cushioned wall after a touchdown, hurting his neck. He did come back to play, I believe, the week later, a couple weeks later, but his career was never the same. He was a Pro Bowler the year before this happened, and then after that, his career was never the same.
So, Farrat's actually a friend of mine. We used to do picks against one another for 2 years, and when you both were on Tiki and Tierney, I guess they went to Army Navy Radio Row and brought back a helmet, and I once took the helmet and ran into the door here on purpose to try to talk smack to Gus Frerotte and try to spook him in terms of not doing well in picks.
Did it work?
I beat him that year.
Okay.
Smoked him in picks. So, good one there, Samter. I left it out just because I know Frerotte a little bit, but good checks and balances there. All right, what do you got, Stu?
So we've seen a lot of injuries with players celebrating, but for me, the one I always remember is from 2001, Cardinals against the Giants. Bill Gramatica, after making a field goal, jumping up and down, celebrating, tears his ACL. Just a brutal injury.
No, absolutely brutal. All right, that's good. This week in sports. Nice job there, Samter, coming up with the topics. We were talking about earlier, what do you have to have on your grill? Two-Tone Tony says baked beans.
Yes. Yes.
That was a big omission by us.
100%. Yes.
And then
good job, Tony.
Terry Wilson said, guys, hadn't you include wings? She's 100% right.
That's true.
I love me some wings. I'm actually going up to the Poconos next week. And my favorite place, it's actually in Barryville, New York, to get wings. Bar Bill in Buffalo is pretty damn good in the Buffalo area. But this place, BVH, where they have the Johnny Hot Sauce, absolutely delicious.
Wings are a go-to on a grill, but are wings a July 4th staple?
Wings are a summer staple.
Okay. No, that's a
wings
good enough.
are a staple.
That's a good enough answer. That's a good enough answer.
Football Sunday, give me wings.
Yes.
Summertime, though, maybe it's just because I went to a sleepaway camp as a kid and the food wasn't that great. So whenever people would bring the wings from the outside into the camp, they were phenomenal. I am just processed in the summer. Wings, getting messy, the wet wipes, the blue cheese, all that stuff. Just give me wings. I love wings. Put those on a grill, baby. You had good pretzels, by the way, Samter. You brought in good pretzels. What were those pretzels, real quickly?
Yeah, there's a honey-baked pretzels.
Very
delicious.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
I took 2 in the last break. Phenomenal. Sensational. All right, we'll take a timeout. It's the Zach Gelb Show. MVP odds next in the NFL outside of Mahomes. Who are you banking on to win the MVP this year?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond. He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
Alrighty, this is Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. You know, I told you guys yesterday I got a call from, I think it's someone claiming to be FedEx. I think it was FedEx. And they were just asking what floor I am on at 345 Hudson Street because they have a package for me to be delivered tomorrow. Now, I checked during the break in the mailroom area where my mailbox is, and there was nothing there for me. Now, I think that goes to someone who then puts it in the mailroom. So since it is 4th of July, tomorrow, this office is a ghost town. So I don't even know if the office manager that is in charge of all that is even here today. So now I'm going to have to wait till at least Tuesday to figure this out because Thursday I'm off. Friday I'm working down the hall, so I won't be on during this show, and there's no way that the office – the office manager, good dude, Matt, very good dude. Great, loyal guy. But I'd be shocked if he's here on Friday because everyone's practically taking Friday off. And then Monday I'm off as well. So I won't be back until Tuesday to find out if there was actually a package being sent to your boy, or does someone just want to know I work here on the 10th floor and they're going to use that information to scam me somehow? I just had to get a new credit card because someone got my credit card information and they were like buying all these like parts or trying to buy all these parts for a car or something like that. So I went through that mess last week and my email got hacked. This was a year ago, and they registered me for like all these things, and I still get emails for them. So I just hope that it's like a good package. I know that the people from Southern Recipes usually send this stuff. If they're sending me pork rinds, I'll be very happy. I could go for a nice little care package with some pork rinds for my good buddy Mark Singleton. That would be good. So hopefully it's some pork rinds, but who knows? Anywho, MVP odds. I see they are out. Mahomes is the odds-on favorite, plus 450. Josh Allen's at plus 850. C.J. Stroud is also at plus 850. Joe Burrow at plus 900. And rounding out the top 5 is Jordan Love. Oh, well, Love, Lamar Jackson, and Purdy are all tied at plus 1,400. Let's just go around the room here. Take Mahomes out of it because everyone's going to say Mahomes, right? Everyone would say. Give me a quarterback and non-quarterback to win the MVP this year. Let's start with the quarterbacks. I'm going to go Josh Allen because they're going to ask Josh Allen to do so much this year. They always ask Josh Allen to do a lot. You know, James Cook had a very good season last year. Dalton Kincaid came on at the end of last season. You know, they did draft Keon Coleman, and I think Keon Coleman, who I liked at Florida State, is going to have a good year, good rookie year. I don't think he's going to be great. Like, he's not going to have a Justin Jefferson or a Jamar Chase type of impact in year one, but I think he'll be a solid receiver as the year goes on. Big frame wide receiver. But Josh Allen's going to have to do it all this year. And, like, when you have Mahomes, the standard when you're at that level, and we've seen it with Brady and LeBron, so much has to go right. And people are just looking to take the trophy away from you. You know, Josh Allen goes and wins the AFC East this year. And I know that's like expected, right? Because of how many straight years they've won it, but now people are doubting them. If he goes and wins like 12 games and wins the AFC East, his stats are going to be ridiculous. I think this is the year that Josh Allen wins the MVP. So, Samter, give me your quarterback here that's going to win the MVP if we take Mahomes out of it.
So I really want to go with back-to-back Lamar Jackson. I just don't think that he's going to be able to do better than what he did last year by so much that the voters will give him back-to-back. Mm-hmm. So even though I think Lamar Jackson will be part of it, I'm going to go Jordan Love as my MVP.
Jordan Love.
I
like that.
Yeah, I
love that.
I was thinking a little C.J. Stroud possibly too, but like again, after the season he had, he's going to have such a ridiculous season because they did so well already last year. For him to win MVP, they're going to have to be like a 13-win team, and he's going to have 5,000 yards.
I don't think so. I don't think
to
they
win
have
MVP,
to be.
He's going to have to be like that level.
I don't think they're going to have a 13-win season. You're just going to need to see him throw more touchdown passes. You know, like last year, rookie season had a 64 completion percentage, 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Like if C.J. Stroud, you're then asking him, he's got to almost double the touchdown. You got to get like 40 passing touchdowns to probably go win the MVP, you would think. You know, Lamar is so spectacular running the football, so that number goes down a little bit.
Only one quarterback had more than 32 touchdowns last year, so I don't think you have to hit.
Is that right?
Yeah, the only quarterback with more than 32 touchdowns last year. You'll never believe it.
Hold on. More than 32 touchdowns last year. I'll never believe it.
Well, I mean, you'll believe it when I say it, but it's, it's not a guy that we give.
Oh, it's Dak.
Yeah. 36 touchdowns, 9 picks for Dak. Mm-hmm. Next best was Jordan Love at 32 touchdowns.
All right, so maybe not double. C.J. Stroud's going to go throw 35 touchdown passes, which I think is possible this year. I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah, but 4,100 yards, he's going to have to throw for 46, 4,500 yards.
Yeah.
Last year was a down year. Tua only had 4,600 yards in the 17-game season. You remember 4 or 5 years ago, everybody was throwing for 5,000 yards. So it feels like...
Well, a lot of injuries, remember, too, last year.
Yeah, but
a lot
still,
of quarterbacks were getting hurt. They were dropping like flies last year.
Sure. Josh Allen played all 17 games. Dak played all 17 games. Goff, Tua, Jordan Love played all 17. So there was enough guys who played all 17 games. Mahomes only missed one game. The passing numbers seemed down last year, so maybe that could help Stroud. But 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 picks. Stroud's going to have to, I think, with the expectations that they have, really up that. That's why I think Jordan Love is going to be, because when you think about MVP, it's usually a guy who either has a historic level season or does better than you expect them to do and takes his team to a higher level than you expect. And I think the expectations for the Texans are so high, it's going to be really hard for Stroud to meet them.
And you look at Love, if I'm going to make the case for Love, which I think is a good choice as well. We've talked about this before in this show. Now how we talk about Jordan Love wasn't how everyone talked about Jordan Love throughout the season. He came on strong at the end of the season. So now it's okay. Can you do what you did towards the end throughout the entirety of the year? And if he can, man, he's going to have a special season with the Green Bay Packers. Stu, who's your quarterback not named Patrick Mahomes to win the MVP this year? Mine is Josh Allen, and Sanders is Jordan Love.
I'll go with Joe Burrow. I just think, obviously, health is the key, having those significant injuries in year one and then in last year as well. But the 2 years in the middle where he played full season, he had 4,600 yards and 34 touchdowns. And the other season, he had 4,400 yards and 35 touchdowns. So he'll put up the stats if he's healthy. I'm not concerned about that. I guess my one concern would be the division being one of the, I would say, on the tougher side of divisions. Maybe they only win 9 or 10 games, but I think they're better than that, and I think he is someone that can easily win an MVP this year.
I wouldn't call this a sleeper because it's only 16-1. But if you say to me, Zach, this guy wins the MVP, I wouldn't be surprised as well. I could see Jalen Hurts having a bounce-back year and looking like the quarterback more so 2 years ago than what we saw in the second half of last season. And I know it's tough, right, because you have all those weapons there. But this dude is going to put up monster numbers this year. You got Brown, you got Devontae Smith, and if Saquon Barkley can stay healthy, how do you defend that in the red zone where you don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to keep it himself, if he's going to throw it, or if he's going to hand it off or pitch it out to Saquon Barkley? So if I gave you a name that's not probably hot right now to still win, it's at plus 1,600, I would say Jalen Hurts, too, if I threw you one extra one. Now, there has not been a non-quarterback to win the MVP since Adrian Peterson did so in 2012. Adrian Peterson did so in 2012. Peyton Manning won the MVP in 2013. Rodgers 2014. Cam in 2015. Matty Ice in 2016. Tommy Brady in 2017. Patty Mahomes in 2018, Lamar Jackson, 2019, Rodgers back-to-back years, 2020, 2021, Mahomes, 2022, and Lamar Jackson this past year. So the last non-quarterback to win the award was Adrian Peterson back in 2012. Since 2000, there has been Marshall Faulk, Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Adrian Peterson. So since 2000, there's only been 4 non-quarterbacks to win the MVP. Marshall Faulk in 2000. You then had Sean Alexander in 2005, LT in 2006, and then Adrian Peterson in 2012. There has never been a wide receiver to win the MVP. So let's take the quarterbacks out of it. Stu had Joe Burrow. Samter had Jordan Love. And when you got to mine, I gave you Josh Allen, but then I also threw Jalen Hurts at the end. Give me your non-quarterback to win the MVP. And at first, I was going to go Tyreek Hill or Justin Jefferson. I was going to go wide receiver, but a wide receiver has never won the award. So it's probably going chalk here for the non-quarterbacks. But Christian McCaffrey's at plus 4,000. I'll go run CMC because when I look at the 49ers, and I know Niners fans won't love this, and it's not, Brock Purdy is 14-1 to win the MVP. This is not being disrespectful to Brock Purdy, But when I look at that team, I think of the offense, and I think of Christian McCaffrey. He's the first player that I think about. So I will go run CMC as my non-quarterback to win the MVP. Samter, who do you got?
I had to go with one of the guys you just mentioned because outside of run CMC, there's not a running back who has a shot. I'm going Tyreek Hill. If he stays healthy and Tua does too, he could, get close to or surpass that 2,000-yard mark.
Stu?
So I went similar to your thinking, and it has to be a player that if the team has a really good season and he puts up these amazing stats, it's not going to be the quarterback that gets to shine. So that's why I'll go Justin Jefferson, because if let's say they win 10, 11 games, he puts up crazy stats. I don't think Darnold or McCarthy are going to be in that MVP conversation. So I think Jefferson can put up the numbers that would give him an MVP chance.
Like if you go division by division, because I think it's like doing the quarterbacks is easy. It's the non-quarterbacks who win the MVP is tougher. So in the AFC East, I think we would universally agree if it's not a quarterback to win the MVP, it would be Tyreek Hill, correct? Right? We're all in agreement there.
Yes.
AFC North, some could say Jamar Chase, but I think defense first. Like TJ Watt or Myles Garrett, one of those two to win the MVP. Now, you could maybe say Derrick Henry, but I don't think that the Ravens, if they win the MVP, if they have someone win the MVP, I would be shocked if it's not Lamar Jackson and if it ends up being Derrick Henry. AFC South, non-quarterback to win the MVP, Jonathan Taylor?
Steph Diggs?
You know what? I may get slammed for this, but I don't think it's it wouldn't happen. So could you go maybe Josh Allen of the Jaguars? Could you, but I would probably, that's not the one I was going to go. What about Travis Etienne? I know you guys may be like, what the heck are you talking about? But Travis Etienne has had 2 seasons of 1,000 yards rushing, 1,008 in 2023, 1,125 in 2022. And his receptions got to go up. He had 35 receptions for 316 yards in 2022, 58 receptions or 476 yards in 2023. But if a Jaguar's going to win, it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. Would Taylor be the first one? I think it's got to be Taylor. But, man, Anthony Richardson's supposed to be sensational this year. So I guess you got to go with Jonathan Taylor. AFC West, non-quarterback to win the MVP.
Crosby?
Wow. That's a good one. That's definitely a good one. Patrick Surtain, corner's not going to win it. You know what? What about Kelsey? Especially with those Swiftie votes.
Same thing with the Mahomes thing. Like, if someone on that team is going to win the MVP, it's going to be Mahomes.
I agree. But if they're...
Devontae? Like if you have like a questionable quarterback situation, he just balls out and they make the playoffs, maybe?
Who would that be?
Devontae with
Adams.
the Raiders.
Oh, Adams. Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was like, a Raider? I'm like, who are we talking about here when you just said Devontae?
You know what's funny?
I see, it's funny. I almost forget that Devontae Adams on the Raiders because we've been talking about how much he won't be on the Raiders.
Yeah, me too. They don't use him enough.
Yeah, no, Devontae Adams wouldn't be a bad one. But, yeah, I guess you would be right. I think it would have to be Crosby. Max Crosby. NFC East, non-quarterback to win the MVP. A.J. Brown? That'd be the first one I think of with Philadelphia.
Micah?
Yeah, A.J. or Micah.
I
mean, Deron Bland returned, 6 picks for a touchdown last year? He wasn't even like...
Nah, he's not winning MVP.
No.
That was like when Lee Bodden, I think that was it, like led the NFL in interceptions one year.
Yeah, no, he had like
some
6.
Patriot, right? I don't know if it was Lee, but it was someone though.
He scored more touchdowns than the Jets offense.
The Giants offense. Both New York offense. I would say it's A.J. Brown. Micah, you know what? That Malik Hooker comment, that's one of the I was talking to Channing Crowder today. I brought it up to him. He couldn't believe that was said. Because it's one thing to say you don't think you should be doing the podcast, but then to say they should pay, you talk about someone else's money and he's your locker mate, the quarterback, a wide receiver, and a lineman, like Dak, CD, and Zach Martin before Micah. I thought that was a bad look for Malik Hooker.
And the way he said it, he's like, oh, Micah's got to be last for sure.
There's going to be a lot of drama.
Right? Like if he says like, oh, we got to pay CD, we got to get our quarterback, and we got to protect him. and you're lauding those three guys and be like, but then you got to take care of Micah. That's not what he said. He goes, no, Micah's got to be last. Almost as if like, how dare you even think that Micah should get paid?
NFC North, non-quarterback to win the MVP, it would be Justin Jefferson.
Just real quick, going back to the East, what about like a Kayvon Thibodeau? Do you think that he has the potential to become that kind of like a pass rushing force?
So I don't even know if he's the best pass rusher on his team.
Sexy Dexy?
No, Burns.
Yeah. Oh, Burns, he's a monster.
Yeah, Brian Burns. Like, that's the thing. They have so many mouths to feed there. It's going to... The Giants on offense, I don't think will be good. You know, Malik Neighbors could be fun. But on defense, that line of Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and Kayvon Thibodeau, my, that's going to be something. NFC North to Justin Jefferson. If it's not Justin Jefferson, I think the name... I don't know if this name will surprise people. What about Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah.
With the lines.
I was thinking Aiden Hutchinson since we were talking about him before.
Yeah. Has a few interceptions, too, in his career. NFC South, non-quarterback to win the MVP. It's got to be Bijan. I would say it's Bijan or Mike Evans. That'd be the first two names I can think of, non-quarterback to win the MVP.
It's not a lot there.
Bijan, though, isn't a bad one.
No, I love Bijan, and hopefully this offense knows how to use him, but the way they used him last year...
It was stupid.
Oh...
I was listening back to that conversation we had with the Super Bowl. I was like, Bijan, I picked you guys to win the division. I don't know what Arthur Smith was doing.
What were they doing?
And I said to him, I go, they tell you have a running back, so they want to use you as most here. They're talking about preserving you. I go, I've never seen anything like that. And then the NFC West, non-quarterbacks to win the MVP, Run CMC would be right at the top of the list.
Bosa, Puka. Hey, listen, you got to
hold on.
You got to throw Cooper.
I was going to say, what about Cooper Kupp first?
I mean, he Triple Crown and Super Bowl MVP.
Stu gave you an
How about Marvin Harrison, Rookie of the Year and MVP? Come on. Yeah, that's a stretch.
I think rookie of the year. Rookie of the year. Year. Just Rookie of the Year. All right, this is Zach Gelb Show, the Infinity Sports Network. When we come on back, I got a few NBA teams that we're going to talk about and how I view their NBA offseason in just one word. We'll get to those teams next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, it is the Infinity Sports Network, and it is the Zach Gelb Show. Fire away, boys. We're going to discuss some NBA teams and what they've done this offseason. And Stu and Santer have put together a list here. They will give me the team, and I will give you my one word to describe their offseason. Let's start things off.
The Dallas Mavericks.
Adding. That's what I'll say for the Mavericks. They are adding. They had a very good season. Surprised people. Got to the NBA Finals. Some people could just be complacent with that. Instead, Dallas said, we're going to add to that by getting Klay Thompson. Not that I think Klay is this great player anymore, but he could play a specific role that could generate offense for Dallas outside of Luka and Kyrie, and you could have him sit in the corner and just jack up a few threes, and he'll find a way to hit some of them. So I will say the Mavericks are adding.
The Golden State Warriors.
Fading. And it's unfortunate because you have Steph Curry, who could still go win a championship in this league. But a decision last year to pay Draymond was just terrible. Then Klay's feelings got hurt because he didn't get taken care of. They should not have brought back Klay. They didn't bring back Klay. But now what are they doing? They've been in on Lauri Markkanen. It doesn't look like they're going to get him. They tried for Paul George. Actually, Stu, let's play that sound. This was Draymond Green yesterday on the Draymond Green show via the Volume saying that Paul George wanted to join the Golden State Warriors. Listen up.
As you all know, Paul George was going to come to the Warriors, and we wanted Paul George to come to the Warriors. And for us to get Paul George, it would have taken a sign and trade, and the Clippers didn't really want to play ball, didn't really want to help him get to where he wanted to go, and so in turn, they get nothing back. And, you know, whereas you could have gotten something back for Paul George walking, they get absolutely nothing back. So these organizations don't always be willing to play ball. And I don't think the Clippers were really willing to play ball for Paul George to get to the Warriors. I kind of understand it. I suppose you don't want him in the same division as you because you may know how that looks if he comes with us.
So if they would have got Paul George, I think the way that we're kind of talking about the Sixers now, not the same, but it would be in like a similar boat, a similar light, where it'd be the first time to get excited for the Warriors for a little bit, because last year that team wasn't going anywhere, and this past season they weren't going anywhere as well. So I think the Warriors are fading where they have a great player still in Steph Curry. Draymond, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Kuminga's developing into a nice player, but they don't have that championship juice right now.
The Houston Rockets.
Preparing. I don't know what they're going to get. I don't know if they are going to get Kevin Durant. I don't know if they're getting Devin Booker, but they are preparing to make a big trade, because there was a reason they gave the Nets their picks back and basically said, hey, Phoenix, we're going to get all your picks, because that situation, we're monitoring it and we are preparing for it to blow up. Now, I don't think they should trade for Kevin Durant. If I'm Durant, I'd just go back to the Golden State Warriors. I'd rather use those resources for Devin Booker. But it's clear that the Rockets are preparing to do something. We'll figure out what that is, though.
The Los Angeles Clippers.
Stu, I'm going to look up when I say this to you, because I think you're going to love this. The Clippers, my word for them, irrelevant.
All right.
Here's why. At least when they had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, they were relevant. Stu was so annoyed because they're like, we're going to go win a championship and we're going to take L.A. All right, we're going to take over L.A. That's all fine. But now you're moving to a new arena. You weren't able to go win a championship with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. You can't rely on Kawhi Leonard to ever be healthy. Death taxes, postseason comes now, Kawhi Leonard's hurt. And he plays a game, then is out the rest of the postseason. And now it's like you got James Harden's not a big game player, along with Kawhi Leonard and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who you got rid of in that Paul George trade with all those picks too, is turning out to be a top 5 player in the league. Like the Clippers, they'll win 40-something games this year, but they're not a championship team, and they're just there. So I think the Clippers are irrelevant.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Now, Stu, I'm going to look at you as well when I say this.
I don't think I'm going to like this one as much.
Disaster. It's that simple. You got an arrogant, meanie face. I'm trying to be nice here instead of just calling him a douche or a jackass. But you got an arrogant, meanie face in J.J. Redick. You got LeBron James, who doesn't want to compete for a championship anymore because he would leave the Lakers if so. They tried to make a swing at Danny Hurley. That was like the Infinity Sports Network showing up to the Deion Dawkins charity kickball event. We were trying to win, but everyone bailed right away. Why even talk to Danny Hurley if you're only going to offer him $70 million? So that was a waste of everybody's time. They keep on floating out all these names. They're not even going to get DeMar DeRozan. They didn't get Klay Thompson. And you got LeBron, you got AD. You got Bronny James. Whoop-de-damn-do. And you drafted Dalton Knecht, who I like and I think is a good pick because they needed a shooter. But that they're going nowhere. And they're a disaster. And they were cheapo a few years ago with not giving Ty Lue that 4th year. And they were just adamant on sticking on 3. And they're just a clown show right now. And everyone's laughing at the Lakers. So that's my word. Disaster.
The New York Knicks.
Advancing. The Knicks last year got to the second round of the playoffs. If everyone on their team didn't get hurt, they would have been in the conference finals. But they've had all these resources for years, and they have improved this team significantly. They brought hope to New York with the Knicks that I've never seen in my lifetime. And then they said, okay, we're going to advance this team from being a good team to try to be a great team this offseason by trading all those assets to find a way to go get Mikal Bridges and continue the Nova Knicks. So I think the Knicks are advancing.
The Oklahoma City Thunder.
You know what? I'm kind of pulling for OKC. And I'm going to say the word for Oklahoma City is intelligent. They got rid of Josh Giddey, and they brought in Caruso, right? A veteran player, smart move. And then there was all this speculation on who else they were going to add. And they ended up prioritizing a big guy in Isaiah Hartenstein, where I do think the Knick fan is overreacting a little bit about losing Isaiah Hartenstein. I know Mitchell Robinson can't stay healthy, but you still have him and Julius Randle. But, people are acting like the Knicks can't go compete because they lost Isaiah Hartenstein. He developed. He deserved a big payday. You knew you were going to get priced out of it. But I thought that was an intelligent, savvy move by the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I will say the Oklahoma City Thunder are intelligent.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Revitalized. I think they have really brought, they've rejuvenated, they've been revitalized, because this was a team that we were looking at them, and Embiid's an MVP, can't stay healthy in the postseason, doesn't deliver late in those postseason games, and it felt like that window was wasted to go in because Markelle Fultz was a disaster, Ben Simmons was a disaster, James Harden isn't a big game player, you have Tyrese Maxey, who's a budding star, and you just looked at Embiid and Maxey, and you're like, oh, that's probably not enough. But them going out there, making a few other moves, but mainly getting Paul George, and you put that trio together of George, Maxey, and Embiid, yeah, you got to wrap them in bubble wrap to make sure that Embiid and Paul George stay healthy, but they're revitalized. Like, you look at the Sixers now, if they didn't get Paul George, we're like, okay, whatever, they'll be a playoff team, but they're not going to win anything. Now they are a team in the Eastern Conference, and you go through the top title contenders, the four you got to think of right away are the Boston Celtics in no order, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and then the New York Knicks. I would say are the four best teams in the Eastern Conference. That's it, right? We got no more teams. Good job. Like the teams that we threw out there. All righty, this is Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. When we come on back, this is not just because we're going into a holiday weekend. And I will not be here doing shows on our network on Thursday, Friday, or Monday. But I am actually going to praise a program that I do not like to praise. But a player in that college program said something. And I said, at least they are embracing the expectations. I'll tell you who that program is. I can't stand them. I will tell you who that player is. And I will actually give them some words of extolment when we return on the Zach Gelb Show right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Update time. Here he is. When I think 4th of July, think of one man.
Uncle Sam?
I think of? No, screw Uncle Sam.
No, definitely not.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, no.
It's Uncle Ack, the Ack Man, Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
As if there was any doubt LeBron James was staying with the Lakers, it ended with the team selecting his son Bronny in the second round of the NBA draft and giving him a 4-year deal. And today it's official that the King is back in L.A., signing a 2-year, $104 million extension. So LeBron and Bronny will become the first father and son teammates in NBA history. James will be 40 in December, but you certainly wouldn't know it last year after he averaged nearly 26 points a game. J.J. Redick may be a first-time head coach, but he has added a couple of assistants with significant experience, naming Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks to his staff. The Brewers lead the NL Central, but aren't resting on their laurels, acquiring starter Aaron Savali from the Rays for a minor leaguer. The Yankees have cooled off after a hot start, and the Orioles have overtaken them for first place in the AL East. Baltimore opened its series last night in Seattle with a win, while the Yanks try to bounce back from a series opening loss to the Reds after Aaron Judge hit his 32nd homer in that loss. The Phillies keep rolling, 56 wins and counting, and go for their third straight tonight against the Cubs at Wrigley as Zach Wheeler takes the mound in search of win number 10. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Hey, like us on Facebook. Our handle is INF Sportsnet. That's INF Sportsnet for our Facebook page. This is the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Hey, this is Howie. And this is Nick from the Backstreet Boys. And you're listening to the Zach Gelb Show. And guess what? Zach is back. All right.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
Oh my God, we're back again. Brothers, sisters, everybody sing. Gonna bring the flavor.
All right, right, it's time to answer Ask the Pros question of the day. It's brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. You can submit a question by tweeting at INF Sportsnet or at Zach Gelb using the hashtag Ask the Pros. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts. I always get a kick when this account tweets me. A kick out of this account. Psych Manther on Twitter says, will LeBron have Bronny become the coach after he runs JJ Redick out of town? That is a fascinating talking point. Stu, can you imagine? LeBron's like, no more wine, no more podcasts with JJ Redick from 2 years from now. And let's say Bronny stinks in the NBA and LeBron's like, I still want to keep on playing. Bronny, I'm going to make you the coach. How would you process that, Stu? Would that be it for you as a Laker fan?
No, definitely not. But nothing would shock me at this point. That would be my reaction.
I don't know. Bronny becoming the next coach of the Lakers.
Pretty shocking, but with this crew, I don't know. I wouldn't be too stunned.
So LeBron's other son, I think his name Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce.
Right, and he's supposed to be a player.
He's supposed to be good.
He's supposed to be really good.
Well, he's taller.
Oh, he got really tall. I saw he was doing an Instagram Live or maybe it was a Twitch last week. And someone asked him, do you think you'll ever play in the NBA with your dad? Now, I didn't realize that Bryce is only 3 years away from that happening. That's not that crazy. Like, does LeBron start to get in the mode? I know he just did a 1-1. Stu just...
I'm trying to process like 5 more years of LeBron on the Lakers.
Into his hands. It looked like you just got hit by like a bus when I said that.
I've said it before. Like, I was very content after last season with last season being the last of LeBron. If he would have left and gone to a team to try to win a championship, I would have been very happy with that. No hard feelings. I don't think I could do 5 years of LeBron.
So he's eligible for the 2026 draft. Bryce James.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he'll be on the Lakers. Maybe get LeBron and Bronny on a different team.
Not?
Where's he going at this point?
In 3 years?
He's a Laker for life, LeBron. For the rest of his playing career, he is a Laker. He's not going anywhere.
Well, listen, Bronny signed a 4-year deal. He's not going to be on the Lakers in 4 years. So
I don't know that. Like, maybe Bronny turns into something. I don't know.
Sure. But more likely than not, Bronny's going to be with the new team. Bryce maybe gets drafted by that team, and LeBron goes to that team, and then you get the triple. I mean, we've seen Ken Griffey and his son play together, but we haven't seen a triplet of father, son.
I did see Ken Griffey Jr. He gave a very emotional interview. I think it was maybe on The Pivot is where I saw it on Instagram with Channing Crowder, Ryan Clark, and Fred Taylor, and he was getting emotional. He's like, whenever that first game is, I'm going with my dad to go see LeBron and Bronny play. They just think that's like, obviously with what they did, they think it's the coolest thing.
One of my favorite
That's
baseball
probably
clips,
the best part of this whole thing.
Yeah, one of my favorite baseball clips ever, though, is Junior was a rookie. He's 19 years old. There's a fly ball to left center field. Junior's playing center, Dad's playing left field. And clearly Dad's ball. Clearly, I mean, he's just parked right under it. I got it. And here comes Junior out of nowhere. And he just snags the ball from his dad with this big smile, that Ken Griffey Jr. smile on his face. That's sports, man. Like, that's imagine the joy of playing sports with your sibling and just playing around and just making money with your kid on a professional level. Like, say what you will about LeBron and Bronny, this is freaking cool. This is cool. It's cool.
I think it will be neat. I'm not like I know this isn't the best thing to say on the radio, but I'm going to say it anyway. I really have no opinion of it. Like, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm at the point where we have to talk about it. But, like, I think a lot of people just look like a bunch of jackasses talking about this, if I'm being serious. Like, how people are losing their mind that he got drafted. Who gives a rat's ass? Seriously. It's the 55th pick of the second round of the NBA draft. Who cares? So he gets drafted. Big whoop. It's like people are shocked. And it's like the part of sports where it drives me nuts, where people are freaking out and making this the most serious thing in the world. I'm not saying it's not cool, but like I'm not sitting there and like, oh, it's the greatest thing in the world. Like, I really just don't care anymore. I just go back to my root of my frustration is that LeBron James says he cares about winning a championship again. He doesn't. Because if he did, he could have got Bronny somewhere else, and he could have went somewhere else. There's no reason for LeBron James to still be on the Los Angeles Lakers. None. Absolutely zero reason. But just the whole conversation about this, and it's a perfect time for a storm because it's the summer, not talk about. Ugh. Like, if we didn't have to, like, it's weird to say we have to talk about something, but it's just like in the news, so we basically have to talk about it. It's the Lakers, right? It's LeBron. It's his kid. I get that. But I can't wait to be off Thursday, Friday, and Monday. So I just don't have to talk about this anymore. Like, I'm past it. I am past this conversation.
Now, looking into 2026 draft when Bryce is eligible.
First pick.
The Lakers do have their first-round pick for that year, so there you go.
But isn't it interesting how Bryce just totally dismissed his dad playing 3 more years? So, and when you sign a 1-and-1, it basically says, this could be the last year. I probably will go 2 more years. But I don't think LeBron's playing 3 more years. I don't. I think he's, right? Because that'd be the 2024-25 season, 25-26, and then it'd be the 2026 draft. Yeah, so 3 seasons. It's not like crazy. And whoever was on the Twitch stream or whatever he was on streaming with them was like, it's 3 years. And Bryce just like, my dad not playing basketball. Like, pretty much was like, at 43? Like, what are we talking about? So maybe Bryce is spilling the beans a little bit with the family. Do we have, I got to follow through on my tease here before we get on out of here. You need me to wait another second or we got it? Okay, we're good. I'm going to give praise to the Ohio State Buckeyes, their football team. Their coach wouldn't be smart enough to say this, but their quarterback, Will Howard, is not messing around. I have not heard this. I've only read it, but the way that it reads on the internet, I absolutely love what he's saying. Now let's see if what I've read on the internet matches up with the audio from Will Howard.
For us, it's natty or bust. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, we have all the talent. We have all of the all of the intangibles, I guess. But we just got to go do it. I'm tired of hearing how talented we are and how good our team is. It's about the work ethic and about how we go to work every single day. And I think we're doing the things that we need to put ourselves in that position to be there at the end of the year. And now we just got to go do it.
Thank you. That is a tremendous answer from Will Howard. Because the last few seasons, I know he hasn't been there. Ohio State has crumbled, right? Ryan Day has not been the right guy for the job. And I know people are going to say, he's only lost like 7 or 8 games, Zach. What are you talking about? He was in a national championship a few years ago. He's lost to Michigan 3 straight years. He hasn't won the Big Ten championship 3 straight seasons. Michigan has won a national championship. And they keep on telling you, talent, 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 talent. Even Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel the other week said, oh, this is like the most talented roster that we've ever seen. But you've now seen Nick Saban get out of the sport. Jim Harbaugh, the boogeyman, is no longer there at Michigan. And this is the time for Ohio State. Georgia's probably still the best team, but I hate when teams are like Ohio State, right, where you know what the standard should be, and then players run away from that standard. That's the antithesis of what Will Howard did. Will Howard showed me a lot in that one answer. He knows what the expectation is. He knows what the standard is. And I can't stand it when teams dance around expectations and when everyone knows it's championship or bust go, oh, I'm not going to use those terms. This is the first time I praised an Ohio State player or the Ohio State football program in the last 3 years. I love what Will Howard said right there. So I'm looking at the odds. National championship betting odds to win it all this year in a 12-team playoff. Georgia is the favorite at plus 300. Georgia's championship or bust. Ohio State is at plus 420. Championship or bust. Oregon at plus 800. They just got Dylan Gabriel. He was more advanced than when Bo Nix first walked in there. I know Oregon's moving into a new conference. I think they're championship or bust this season. Texas at plus 850. I think it's championship or bust. And that's where I think I draw the line in the sand for this season. for championship or bust teams in college football. Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas. Like Alabama, this is the first time in forever they walk in, it's not championship or bust. Ole Miss is a good team. I can't say championship or bust. LSU, who is at plus 1,700, they're not championship or bust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The team with the 8th highest odds to win a national championship at plus 2,000. The Penn State Nittany Lions. Yeah, they're not championship or bust. That's a no for me, dog. Notre Dame, plus 2,300. They're not championship or bust. The defending champ, the Michigan Wolverines at plus 2,500. They're not championship or bust. Florida's at plus 2,800. Tennessee at plus 3,300. Missouri plus 3,800. And A&M plus 4,500 along with Clemson. I think that's safe to say. Those are the 4 championship or bust teams in college football. Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas. Those are the 4 teams I look at. Texas, the last hurrah for Quinn Ewers. If he gets hurt or doesn't play well, Arch Manning is right there. Oregon, very tough to replace Bo Nix, what they did last 2 years. I like bringing in Dylan Gabriel. Ohio State, you told me Kyle McCord can't get the job done, all that stuff, right? I was the one saying that last year when they weren't as good as what they were ranked. Will Howard now in, but a very talented roster, and I like the mentality from Will Howard that we just played for you. And Georgia, heck, Michigan ended up winning the championship last year. Georgia lost 1 game, and it was to Alabama, and now they returned Carson Beck. They won 2 straight national championships, then not winning one last year, not even making the playoff. And Georgia right now, it's tough to pick against them. By the way, that Will Howard clip, I want to give it proper credit. It was from Bayou Times Sports. That's a good answer by Will Howard. And you know what? It takes a lot for me to praise Ohio State. It does. Because I just can't stand that crying Ryan Day. That's a very good answer from Will Howard. All I just want are teams to embrace expectations. And I give a lot of credit to Will Howard, right? Brought in there to be the guy, and he's not messing around. That's leadership.
I mean, after Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer lauded the team a couple of weeks ago, too, and just saying it's the best talent we've ever had in
Which
this
I don't
building.
agree with.
But at the end of the day, like, they're right. It's championship or bust. If they lose in the national title game, like, it's a disappointing season.
Yeah.
Right now, they are title or bust, and that's it.
Yeah, I asked Joshua Perry real quickly. I said, what do you make of Tressel comments and Urban Meyer? I feel like Ohio State has had more talent than this roster. He goes, it's wild because it does nothing but add pressure. I think Ohio State has been more talented, but they're pretty deep and they have some experience on the roster. The thing about Urban is he's so hyperbolic that you have to take it with a grain of salt. Just going back to those comments. That was from Joshua Perry. All righty. Fun show. Fun week, I guess you could say. I'm not here Thursday, Friday, and Monday. I'll be back on Tuesday. Everyone have a great 4th of July. Stu Samter, thanks so much. Each and every one of you, thank you as well. I'll be back on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. We out. Bye-bye. Peace. I love America.